So I have a question for the group. And that question is, how do you trap a wild Allan? Anybody know?
How do you trap a wild Allan?
You lay a bunch of bad games out on the ground, and you put like a stick in a box over them. And then you hide in the bushes with your friend who is the hunter from the Lost World, Pete Postlewaite, except in this case, it's Arlen.
Yes.
And then you stand up and go, Smallville! And then, like, this sound cuts through the wilderness. And a wild Allan jumps out and goes, did you know in episode 5 of season? And then he gets tranquilized by Pete Postlewaite from Lost World, but it's Arlen.
Right. Exactly.
And then you finally say, I came here to get the thing I wanted, which was a buck. And then your friend runs off into the tall grass and gets killed by raptors.
Yeah. I've come here to collect my fees.
Jesus.
To collect my fees. Yeah, that's right.
It's
You
Chris,
picked the right person, because I know that
But the
movie.
person, your hunter person friend is Chris, and he's like, don't go into the long grass.
Man, those DC nerds really don't like us right now.
By the way, yeah, the sound you're hearing in the background is us under siege. Good God!
They heard me talking shit about the Joker earlier, and they're just like,
This is their response to Batman doesn't use guns.
This is what's his face responding to your saying that Gotham is trash, Connor.
You know what's? I didn't even say the show. I just posted a picture of the Joker. I was like, this is absurd.
So I have a question.
Yeah, it's Bruno Heller.
If Disney buys Fox, they will be producing a DC TV show?
no, that's
Really?
Yeah.
That would-
Oh my God.
Well,
War's over, guys. We lost.
I don't know. I could see them continuing to put it out. I mean, Warner Brothers had to put out the Lego Marvel Superheroes games. Jesus Christ.
I mean, to be fair, Disney
Oh my
Channel,
God.
God damn it. It does sound like combat is going on, like Battle LA is going on or something.
I can totally picture one happening right now.
But yeah. What was I gonna say? Oh, like Batman the Animated Series ran on Disney Channel originally, and Fox.
No, I thought it ran on Fox originally.
Yeah, like both of those.
Yeah,
things happened
it was a Fox
before Cartoon
yeah.
Network. Yeah. So.
Also, in regards to Gotham, every time there's a ratings report, they keep talking about how the ratings are getting lower. Oh my God! It feels like dude. I feel like a wartime anchor.
Wait, I just want to be like, good morning,
It's an
Vietnam.
ugly planet. It's a bug planet.
Well, what you guys don't realize is I'm actually wearing a flak jacket and a press helmet right now. So, Christ.
Is Frank Castle near you?
End.
I know. Do you want me to put on some Rolling Stones painted black in the background?
Or the Doors.
I ain't no fortunate son.
Or that really weird song from the Battle LA trailer.
God damn it, yeah.
Anyway, who's here? I'm Connor McGraw. Welcome to another new.
God fucking damn it.
Well, this was Connor. It appears I have been shot.
Arlen Haro here. I'm
Okay.
bleeding from the femoral artery. So I'm dead, basically.
it's Hunter Davenport. I'm pinned down.
My name's Allan here. I just want to get my truck back.
It's still alive.
This is Eric Fedorchak, and if you check out the monitors to my left, you can see the drone strike currently going on.
And I'm Luis Gonzalez, and I'm pretty sure this is a hate crime.
Eric's like, outside my window is Edge of Tomorrow now.
Christ.
So we're going to deal with that for a little while.
Uh-huh.
Because as Eric has said before the chat started, there is a white trash festival happening. Fuck him.
Which could mean
wonder
just
if they
all the
know my shitty
juggalos decided
neighbors.
together, so that could mean many things.
That explains why my shitty neighbors are not blowing off fireworks right now.
So, I want someone to listen to this episode and totally think we're doing a bit.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Oh, it stopped. The war is over.
Well, no, it's because I stepped inside and I muted. Now I'm just going to have to. Oh, there we go. It's a win-win situation here.
We've gone from a war movie to a dog movie.
Yeah.
We're in Beethoven.
Yeah, exactly.
Or whatever the Stephen King one is that I can't remember.
Cujo?
Cujo, yes. Not the one that
No,
they
we're
haven't
in
made
Snow
with
Dogs.
scientific animals or scientifically engineered
My dad
animals.
used to tell me that Cujo was Beethoven's like shitty older brother.
That's a good
I
lie.
mean-
That's a very good lie.
Sure,
Have I-
yeah.
Have I ever showed you guys like the shitty concept for the Cujo remake?
Yes, that's what I was referencing. The
Oh my god. Wait, what? No?
No,
the
I've never
genetically
heard of
altered
this.
dogs that
What?
yes.
So it's like that Scooby Doo comic book.
Yep.
That-
There's a squad. and it's
Why?
all-
Like, this is the same line of thinking as, like, let's make human dinosaur hybrids and put lasers on their heads. Then people will take us seriously.
Let's make pterodactyls and put miniguns under their wings.
Okay, that's rad. That's
Or what
rad.
about sharks with freaking laser beams?
Those freaking
It
rad.
is, and that's the problem, is that Dr. Evil did happen. Oh my god, did someone just slam a guitar?
That was
I
me.
don't
I
know.
hit my mic. I have like a mic arm or whatever. I hit it. It has springs. Sorry.
I
That
thought-
episode
using
is
guitars
really
as
messed up,
weapons.
so yeah.
No, Hunter, that is not cool. That is the shitty Turok game on the Xbox original.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I forget
Anyways.
those games are a thing.
Oh my god, that did happen. I actually was on the Xbox store recently and saw that there is an HD version of Seeds of Evil.
Yeah, that and
Shit.
Turok 1.
Does Turok 1 get rid of the persistent fog that stays within 2 feet of you?
Nope.
Oh man, I gotta play that then. That's one of my favorite kind of campy shooters because the way people die in that game for some reason is hysterical. There's no
Yeah.
like falling animation. You shoot them and they go rah, rah, and they're just on their ass. Like
So it's Serious Sam.
I have never played a single Serious Sam game in my life.
They're-
You have to. It's so good.
I don't like them. They're bad.
Anyway, what's our first news
Yeah,
item?
let's
in
talk
Jig?
about news, guys.
All right. So I
Now that-
did some reorganizing. Ordered these and I ordered these as far as how long I think they will take. They might not take as long as I thought. First one is the first like set photo of Keiran, Shipka, and Sabrina. That happened. I put it in the chat for everybody to see it. I don't know. I'm excited. I don't expect anybody else to have a response to this.
I
Other
think
than
Did any of you guys watch Mad Men?
No.
Yeah, she played
The
one of
daughter.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
daughter.
she was the daughter. She was actually, especially towards the latter seasons when she was older, she actually was really good on the show, and they gave her a lot to deal with.
Mhm.
So she's actually, I'm kind of almost surprised that she's doing a CW spin-off show for Netflix.
I'm surprised that she signed up for 20 episodes as well.
Yeah, like I
Well,
honestly think she's like a little too good of an actress for this, which means that I kind of think the show will be good.
Yeah, probably.
Where have I seen this girl from?
Did you watch the Devil's or no the Black Coat's Daughter?
No.
I'm trying to think of what else you might have seen her in. She's been in a bunch of stuff. She's been in some like I think she's been in like young adult type stuff. But Black Coat's Daughter is really my reference for her. She's good in that movie. I don't personally enjoy that movie.
She was in Carriers.
I've never seen that either.
Yeah, I only know her from Mad Men, which she was on from day one.
Was she okay? So she was still on when the Ram Jam song "Fat Betty" showed up during the season of.
Yeah,
of
she's
Mad
actually
Men.
she's
Oh.
like the only kid that was the same actor throughout
Oh
the entire season.
no. She has an uncredited role in the Land of the Lost remake with Will Ferrell.
Oh no.
Oh no!
Oh, she's in Legend of Korra as Jinora? I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
Oh, that's Gnias' sister.
Says
Oh,
yes.
yeah. Let's see. What else has she been in?
Remember that movie that James Cameron signed off on and was like, I like this, and then was like, I don't like this.
She's been in a bunch of stuff though. I'm sure there's something that
She's
you
fairly-
do recognize her from. So, but yeah, she looks
I'll-
cool in the
I-
picture though.
Is this an official Riverdale spinoff, or is this?
I think it is.
Yeah, it is.
Officially it is. Yes. Yes.
Okay, I still haven't watched Riverdale. And I
You should.
don't
It's
know if
actually
I
really
will.
good.
I've
It's
described
good, Connor. It really
my
is.
recent
Yeah.
my recent apprehension to it is getting in the way. But I
Isn't
think
it-
I'll probably watch Sabrina before I watch Riverdale.
I mean,
I am in the same boat. Like I have not watched Riverdale, and it just nothing on the advertising like yells
And
at me
that
to
is
add
my
another
problem.
hour.
The advertisements for Riverdale are some of the most nauseating, self-indulgent, up their own ass ads I've ever seen.
as someone
I
who
only
watched
s-
it, I agree. I totally agree.
I only
Also-
saw the ending, the episode or the season 1, or not season 1, season 2 opener. But after that, I just let the episodes.
That's
keep
a
coming
weird place
out.
to jump in, Al.
I know, considering the ending.
That's like the weirdest place to jump in because.
No, I saw season 1.
Okay,
like
I
the
thought
most-
you said that
that's-
you started
Oh.
with season 2.
I was gonna say
Okay.
that's one of the most Allen things I've ever heard.
Yeah, but like.
It
so
would
here's the-
no. With stuff like this, I gotta jump in at the beginning, at the ground level.
Okay.
Gotta be at the ground floor.
So I
Yeah.
I only watched Riverdale as much as I did because I expected Sabrina to show up. That's the only reason I watched it, really, because I expected her to be in the first season. And I got very...
I'm sorry, like the level of trolling to make someone watch an entire show and then
Yeah.
to announce the character you're looking for in a spin-off afterwards
Yeah,
is very amusing.
yeah. So I stopped watching, and I'll just wait for Sabrina because the picture suggests that they're pulling from the recent comic book run, which I adore. It's
actually
fantastic.
that run is very good. Like
Yes. It will never end, and as far as I know, there will never be a new
I
issue.
work with lots of people who are kind of like up there in age, like some of them in their 50s. And one of them, I can't remember what I mentioned, talking about the Sunday comics, and like she referenced like, I used to read Archie when I was little. I'm like, yeah, you fought Predator recently? She's like, excuse me? She's like, what do you mean? I'm like, yeah, the big scary thing with teeth that fought Arnold. She's like, comics are weird, and she just walks away from me.
Yeah, he also
Yeah.
died, and they did a whole zombie one.
Yeah, well, because the RG people, they don't care about continuity, so they'll do literally anything. I just saw that Vamp Veronica thing, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like they did an Archie and Ash versus the Evil Dead crossover at some point.
Okay.
I think they did.
I love the Evil Dead so much, but I don't think there's anything that hasn't crossed over with Ash and to verse the Evil Dead.
Did you any guys read the Big Trouble in Little China crossover with Escape from New York?
What?
No.
Yeah, that
I thought you
happened.
were going to say Evil Dead. I'm like, thanks for proving
No.
my point. I do own Freddy vs. Jason vs. Ash somewhere in this.
okay, I was just like, because I was curious. I looked up Evil Dead crossovers. He crossed over with Ash crossed over with fucking Darkman.
What?
Oh,
That
that's
actually
actually awesome.
fits.
That's
That
a
actually
fucking
makes
rad
sense.
crossover.
That's so cool. Now, is
Take
it,
some bear. Take
is it
some
I'm
bear.
also,
Is it-
I'm also,
is
I'm
it
also
Liam
looking
Neeson
at one that
as
says
Darkman?
Ash saves Obama.
God damn
Of
it.
course.
God damn it.
Of
These
course.
sound like Troy McClure titles.
They do.
Hi, I'm Troy McClure.
You might remember me from Ash Saves Obama.
Anyways,
I would just
that's
love if
the-
they did a book that it was all of his different characters, like Ash and then Bubba Hotep, and then his character from like Hercules.
Yeah. his appearance in
Actually,
Thor
while we're in the
Notice.
speed round, I do want to kind of do an improv note here. Ash vs. Evil Dead was canceled. Ash retired himself as Ash, and in addition to that, his Bubba Hotep character too. So I think that's it.
Oh.
So is he
That
like
sucks.
retired?
I don't think he's
Here's the
retiring
thing.
from acting, but he's done with Ash. This
Yeah,
this
he's done
show
with the
was the
character.
last. This was the last hurrah, and if it didn't work, that was it.
But he retired Bubba Hotep as well.
Yeah.
Like that
So-
character. Oh,
So my only anger with that at all is that when they canceled the show, my immediate thinking was, oh, so they're gonna pick up on the end credit scene to Evil Dead 2014. And you've all seen that movie, correct?
Yeah.
Elvis?
no.
Yeah.
But you can spoil it. I don't care.
It's not
Well-
really. It's not plot relevant.
No,
It's just-
No.
the end credits. It's Ash. they
You just
very-
hear he says groovy.
Yeah, they,
Yeah.
they very much say that in this universe there is an Ash because every Evil Dead movie and show takes place in a different universe. So in this universe there is an Ash, or I guess in the universe of the sequel there is an Ash who did exist.
Well,
at some
I
point.
suppose it's split timelines because Evil Dead introduced time travel. So yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah,
But yeah,
Ash is in that
Apparently,
universe.
season 3 had a fucking banger of an ending. And now it's not being renewed. So.
Yeah.
And
It-
here's the thing: maybe if it wasn't on a platform that feels fucking archaic, people would be watching it.
Oh, you mean a platform that doesn't even have an app that's available for like
Yeah,
Apple
it does.
TVs
It
or
does.
anything?
No, there's the Stars app.
Yeah, I
For
have it.
Apple TV? For like
I know it's on the Xbox. I think on the PlayStation. But I don't know about Apple TV.
Yeah, well, like I mean, I didn't think it was on any of these streaming devices other than like video game systems.
I only
There's
go
no,
'cause I watch
there's
American
no,
Gods on it.
there's no incentive to own Stars. Like, if you press the choice, you just go get HBO. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that was when I was living on a different place before I met my wife. My one roommate had gotten cable, and because they screwed up so bad, they offered us Stars free for a year and HBO for 6 months. That should give you an idea of how much money Stars is worth to anyone.
I mean, even if you get a Hulu subscription, if you pay like $3 extra, $4 extra, they bundle in as Showtime subscriptions. You get access to all the shows and TV.
And
Yep.
Showtime is awesome because if you pay for it, you at least get all of Penny Dreadful, and that's.
I was about to say
worth the
you at
money.
least get you get some damn good TV.
Mhm.
But yeah,
Yeah, you can pay for it for a month and cancel, and it will be completely worth it.
The one quick thing with Bruce Campbell saying that he's done with Ash-like characters and Bubba Hotep specifically, that's the one that bums me out the most because I would love to have seen what the next Bubba whatever movie was going to be,
Right.
because I think he had said at the very end of the movie there was like a Elvis will return in Bubba something, but I can't remember what it was.
I can't remember what it was.
yeah.
Who here? I think it was Bubba Ferratu. Who here hasn't seen Bubba Hotep?
I haven't, but
I haven't.
I have not. I own it.
Okay.
actually, on DVD.
Okay,
It's so good.
Bruce
It's
Campbell
so
is
good.
the real Elvis Presley in a retirement home with a black man who says that he's JFK.
No, he doesn't say he is JFK.
He
has the brain
for all
of
intents and
JFK.
purposes claims that JFK's brain was put into his body. And then they fight a mummy.
Okay. I'm gonna watch
Well,
this right
the
now.
thing that's weird is it's based on a urban myth. That
Okay,
has
I'm
some
going
truth in
to
it.
buy this now.
Good
'Cause-
choice.
Because like where they explain how he's actually Elvis is based on like a real story of like when he met an impersonator and he let the impersonator do stuff for him a bunch of times.
And they swapped lives, essentially.
Yeah, but in like real life, he just let him go do like a couple of engagements, like
Yeah.
as him, and no one noticed.
Well, and the thing that makes me think that the reason that the second Bubba Hotep movie isn't happening is because I think John Dies at the End did so poorly for Don, however you pronounce his last name, Carcerelli. The guy directed Phantasm. Like, I think he's kind of poison to most producers
Dude,
at this point.
I don't know, but like,
Yeah,
Phantasm
definitely.
5 looks like the most ambitious, low-budget trash I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Like, visually, it looks like shit,
Didn't
but
that
they
dude
tried
die?
so fucking hard. Dude, the tall man?
Yeah.
I think, like, right after its release.
Yeah,
Oh,
they
yeah.
had footage shot already, and then they had to work around that. So
Yeah.
yeah,
It's weird because you think of like Phantasm as these weird little horror movies, and they're not. They're like really fucking brainy, cosmic horror.
yeah.
I maybe the first 3. 4 kind of goes off the deep end.
Well, five goes into different realities, parallel universes, different dimensions, and like different dimensions basically folding in on themselves and shit like that.
Well, is 5 Ravager the
Yes.
is the newest one? Yeah, because part 4 was the one that like it was about 70% footage from the first movie that they didn't use, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, more or less.
Yeah.
And then
Aw,
CGI
man,
happens, and you're like,
Ozzy Davis
oh.
isn't alive anymore.
Anyway,
You play a good game, boy.
the funeral's about to begin. Anything else having to say about Sabrina?
It looks good. I mean, I'll probably watch it.
Yeah. And
I'll give it a shot.
on the Bruce Campbell thing, I mean, and Eric, I think you're the only one here other than me who's seen Fargo season 2. If it means we get more stuff like that, and I won't spoil what he did in that. If
Good
we get
point.
stuff more like that, I'm kind of into it.
Good point.
He does
I
stuff
totally
like-
forgot about that.
He does stuff all the time, but he does crazy voice acting work.
Mhm.
I was just running through his IMDb. He voiced Lobster Johnson in a Hellboy video game at some point.
Oh,
Wow.
Really?
That's
Had to
Yeah.
be kind to people.
Oh.
But I was trying to remember. I was looking at because I was trying to remember a movie where he played himself. It was
My name is Bruce.
My Name is Bruce, and that was kind of like I love that movie. It was so ridiculous.
It's a spiritual successor to Evil Dead because some basic deadites happen, and then everyone's like, "Oh my God, you played Ash, you can save us." He's like, "No, I'm Bruce."
Yeah,
It's kind of like I think it's a less serious JCVD.
yeah.
Right.
It's like I think he's at like a horror con, and like the end of the world happens, something like that, right? Or some guys
I think
trick
that-
him.
yeah, some kind of catastrophe happens.
awesome. Okay. Next
Tomfoolery.
story I have. I can't find where the story was. I think I saw it on Screen Rant because now I read that because Connor. But yeah, no. I saw that story, and apparently Loki died in Ragnarok originally.
Yes.
I could not find this story, so
Yeah, I couldn't either. So that's great. The story might not exist. It might.
No, I
in my
can.
head.
No,
I can.
I'd seen it floating around too.
Yeah. So, but I don't know. That's interesting that he almost did die in Ragnarok. I don't know exactly when, because I read it as the Dark World in my head.
Oh no.
I was like, okay, originally he died in Dark World the way that he was supposed to. So, or maybe I put Ragnarok and I meant to put Dark
Wait,
World.
hang on. No, I think it is Dark World.
yeah, I think I
Really?
every time I looked it up, I saw Dark World, and I was like, this has got to be the wrong article.
I could have sworn I saw something about
But, like-
Ragnarok as well.
How could he die in Dark World? Like it was, unless they completely changed the way that ends.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
Dark World death was originally permanent from Screen Rant itself, right
Okay,
there.
Yes, okay,
Huh.
there it is. But yeah, his death and okay, so that one actually makes more sense. But so that's so again, as we did last week, we might go spoilery here, but that's just to talk about what that means, how that would change, I guess, things currently.
Everything.
That would
It would've
change.
changed
I think it hamstrings the development in Ragnarok too, because
Yeah.
like the development is shared between the two of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I would
Well,
say
and
of the two of them, he's the one that like grows the most in Ragnarok.
Well, yeah, I was going to point out, like Connor had said, he's the one like character that you've seen this entire arc for, and to have him cut short in Dark World it just seems like such a misstep if they would have done that.
Especially like with Dark World, like how that turned out.
Exactly.
Loki, yeah,
You mean how it
Loki
sucked?
would have been
So here's the thing.
just another villain.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, so here's the thing. I'll say this though. I remember not thinking Dark World was bad until he turned out to be Anthony Hopkins. Like I didn't think that movie was bad at all. I thought it was actually kind of great because he sacrificed himself and because Frigga died, and the movie felt like it had stakes and it felt different. And even if it wasn't the best in terms of the villain, I thought that the movie itself took chances. And then they undid his death.
Yeah, and like
Oh.
his scene after he's told that Frigga did die is one of my favorites in the MCU because
Oh,
like when
yeah,
he's standing there, he's like like he basically he removes the illusion of cell and he's trashed everything. His feet and hands are bloody.
well, the best to me, it's more like when Thor's like when he's putting on the pretenses that Thor's like brother, and then he just like does that like 3 times, and he finally lets it all go, and it's like even that's like kind of the beginning of Thor seeing through his bullshit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but if he had died in Dark World, he'd be just
Yeah.
a few steps above Yellow
I mean-
Jacket.
His whole
Well-
trajectory and like even in Ragnarok is like would be. I'm not saying it's good that he didn't die because we wouldn't have Ragnarok would be a very different movie if he did die.
Yeah. Also,
Right.
he's the perfect delivery device to get the Tesseract to Thanos. So
Yeah. And also, so I'm going to push back against the Yellow Jacket thing. He had been set up previously.
Yeah.
He was an interesting character.
I don't know
going
why,
into Dark
but-
World.
Yellow Jacket is like for some reason the villain I turn to, and I'm like, hey, Marvel villains suck. Remember Yellow Jacket?
Well, because he's in one movie, and his thing
I think
is
it's-
that
I
he's
think it-
crazy. He's
His
insane.
design is so cool, but then he's like, I'm evil, and then
Right.
Hey, well, it's because that entire movie spends the time of talking, like showing us Scott, and like Scott's like not a good guy and his buddies. So
Yeah.
I don't know,
Yeah.
but like
Go ahead.
I mean the worst villain is still probably Whiplash. So
yeah,
Well,
Well, the name is
mean,
Bird.
Yeah.
Where's my
my
brother?
bird.
where's my beard?
My bad.
I say that every time I see an actual bird in real life.
Yes.
I do that, or I do Dolph Lundgren's "Nice Bird" from
I'll
The
just-
Expendables.
I'll just be walking down a hallway at my work, and I'll just start saying, "Where's my bird?
My beard."
It's just a thing that happens. So yeah, or I'll be driving and I'll be stressed out. I'll be like, "Where's my bird?
That isn't my bird.
That's my.
Or you,
that's not my bird."
But to
You
get back to Loki, like he is such a huge character in like the Avenger like history.
Mhm.
Like to often like that would have been such a disservice and like kind of sucky. Like, I don't know how else to describe it.
I think it would have made the movie better though. Like I think giving it, I think Dark World goes from being a okay, that was fine movie to being a much better movie in everybody's heads afterwards. Like I really think that post-credit scene Or not? It wasn't even post credit. It was like 2 seconds after Thor leaves the room.
Yeah, I was saying it's like the last shot of the movie, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the last thing, but it felt like a post credit.
See, the part
the movie.
If they would have cut what's her name's character, I think it would have been like way better movie.
Natalie Portman.
No,
Well,
her assistant.
we all agree with that.
What's her name?
Kat Dennings.
Yeah.
No,
Oh
I
my
will
God.
fight
Second
everybody who's
waifu.
against her.
I
Everybody
cannot
who's
stand her
against
character.
Okay.
I like-
In the first movie, she's good. In the second, in Dark World, she is just like it's just too much.
I just like Kat Dennings. So
Yeah,
Well, Yeah,
I've
but
never
just not in
understood that.
Thor.
I've never understood the people that hate Kat Dennings in either movie. They don't. Nothing that they've ever said has made sense to me. I'm sorry. It
I just
always
think
is like
In Dark
what?
World, she just doesn't. She just feels very ham-fisted, like shoved in there.
I
Like she doesn't
mean,
fit the rest of the tone to me.
I guess
Maybe it's just her and Natalie Portman. Just like they're so different, it doesn't make any sense how, like Natalie Portman would have her as an assistant still.
I agree
No,
with
but that movie
because-
perfectly.
Who?
Stellan Skarsgård.
Okay. I agree with that, but I think that's Portman's fault.
Oh, she definitely was like not. She was as checked out as any human could be
Yeah.
on any movie set ever.
Because in the first
Well,
movie, you definitely get the sense you understand how Jane and her are friends. Like Jane is the one who, like, you know, she's not outgoing, she's kind of shy, and Kat Dennings is her energetic friend who pushes her, like, and that's there in the first movie. But Natalie Portman isn't doing anything in the second movie.
she's not awake in Thor 2.
No.
Well, I think a lot of that might have to do with the fact that she was pretty pissed off about 2 different female directors being bounced out of that movie.
Yeah.
Because I thought
Yeah, one
Natalie
of them-
Portman was pushing really hard for one of them.
One of them was Patty Jenkins.
Yeah.
And I can't remember. I can never remember the name of the other one. But yeah, she was a big part of both of them initially getting hired. So I do think that played a big part.
If she would have actually like done something in that movie, like I feel like that would have had more of an impact than Loki dying, because who knows where they could have pushed Jane Foster too, because she's a very important character in the Thor mythos.
Not anymore in the MCU anyway.
I mean, there are a lot of things like Christopher Eccleston could have not done what he does. in that
Man,
movie.
what if look,
Wait, he did something in that movie?
What a waste of a character.
Eccleston is like a fantastic actor who you can't fucking see in Dark World because he's buried under all this ridiculous elf makeup.
Yep.
Yeah, we've talked about it. That movie
Same
is
with,
why he
Mr.
didn't do
Echo.
the Doctor Who special. That's why he's not in the 50th.
Oh dear God.
So yeah. Well, also
He
he's
looks
a
like-
dick, so.
He looks like my biggest problem with the first Spider-Man movie is still the very Power Ranger-esque scenes where it's a guy in a mask talking to a guy in a helmet, and you're just going with head bobs and ADR.
Have you ever seen the other like masks that they made?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
It's
that-
so much
that-
better, right?
Yeah, it's very good.
I
Very
mean,
good.
It's just
it's
like when
more
you
comic book accurate. I will say
yeah.
that.
So when you
It has facial
you-
expressions.
when you bury this like great actor under something like that or like a lot of prosthetics, it's just kind of why'd you use him in the first place?
Yeah. I mean, he almost didn't need a mask for most
No,
of the movie.
He absolutely did not. They could have just like turned him green like Gamora.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
it could have just been a shell. It could have been like a shell, and then his face like pops up in the shell, like whatever.
Well, I remember the whole.
Like Frieza's
Remember-
brother?
Yeah,
Remember
well,
what
no, like-
happened?
No, it's a shell that like changes color, so it goes from transparent to like solid green.
Oh, never
That's a kind of like the alien, actually. They could
Yes.
copy
Oh,
the
so
alien
like-
design even more than they
Oh.
already did.
So like Frieza.
No, Frieza is different. I'm talking about like the shell is in front of his face.
I'm just making a joke about third form Frieza.
I
looking at
know, and I'm thinking Red Hood though. I'm thinking Red Hood, but elongated.
Okay.
That's what I'm.
Well, if you remember what happened with the 2011 version of the thing, they were going for all practical, and then the studio said CGI at the last.
Yeah, if you want to hurt your own feelings, go look up the early effects footage and check out
Yeah, that looked great.
the entirely different third act they filmed and had special effects going for and built this gigantic, fucking gross tentacle beast.
Yep.
Rather than
they
the
called,
Tetris.
that they called the pilot, and then the studio came in and was like, CGI everything and change the ending.
Yep, and then
Awesome.
watch Tom Woodruff's movie that he made with the effects. It's not very good, but you get to see what the
You know,
effects looks like.
Here's the thing. Someone was like, hey, you like The Thing, right? I love The Thing. You should watch Harbinger Down. 90 minutes
No.
later, I sent him a text message saying, why'd you ask me to do that? I'm very mad at you right now.
Got Lance Henriksen.
This movie's shit.
But
So
you get
what?
to see the effects, so...
Hold on. Wait. Hold on. Did you say it has Lance Hendrickson as if that's some kind of currency?
That's a selling point, my friend.
I
No,
mean,
it's not.
if you
Lance
really
Henriksen-
love Lance Henriksen, maybe.
Lance Henriksen will star in a dumpster if you pay him $25.
This is
He does
true.
anything.
Hey, he's got to keep the lights on.
That said, he's the best part of AVP, so...
Yes, he is. In that weird ass non-canon retcon they make of the. How many fucking Waylons have we seen?
He's better than that dude who wanted to fuck the alien.
Oh, you mean Brad Dourif?
Yes.
Well, that's
Oh,
just
man.
Brad Dourif. He just wants
Alien-
to fuck
Yeah,
all the
that's just
aliens,
him.
So...
Alien Resurrection is a weird fucking work story that ties into this unbelievably. We've been treating this little dog, this little Chihuahua. It's super sick. We all thought it was gonna die. It survived, and I finally like the last day it's treating. I looked at the last name like Dourif. Wait a second. Come to find out, this is like it's Brad Dourif's granddaughter's dog.
Oh, shit.
Oh my
Oh
god.
wow.
Wait,
What?
Brad Dourif has granddaughters?
Apparently.
Brad Dourif?
That must be very creepy for that child. Ugh. You show her
I
Exorcist 3?
still get used to living in a city where you just like
God.
run into I may run into someone famous or be connected to someone famous like by 2 or 3 degrees quite often in this city.
Right.
It's very weird.
Yeah. All right.
Apparently, Nicolas Cage got tossed out of my movie theater right before I worked there. So
Oh.
Yeah, that when we did Ghost Rider, that story you told was great.
yeah, he got kicked out for movie hopping, and they're like, "You got to go." He's like, "Okay."
Wait, what? You puppy hopping?
He was theater hopping, and then he got.
There's
asked,
not enough butter on this popcorn.
I just wanted to get a free movie. It's okay, I'll leave them.
I just want to see all the movies in
I
place.
just want to know what movies they were.
Right.
I do too, because I have a feeling it's like the Secret Life of what's it, the Cats and Dogs 2.
Secret Life.
I was gonna say Beverly Hills Chihuahua.
That too, probably.
I was gonna say like Superman Returns, and he's like, God damn it.
Could have been me.
Real quick before we move on, I have another theater story I just remembered the other day from talking to someone at work. We had an old lady come into the first theater I worked at. She just walks up to the box office. She goes, "I'll take one for this," and she slaps the Dark Knight DVD on the counter. And we're like, "Excuse me?" She's like, "I'll take a ticket for this," as if we were just going to go upstairs and pop it into our industrial-sized player.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
I
just
thought,
Oh, man,
There's a
mental
human
health
being who just
facilities
didn't know how
fuck
theaters
your
work.
I thought it was an old lady who thought that this was still the bartering system. Like,
How many tickets can I? How many tickets can I get for the Dark Knight?
One quad
At least it was a good movie.
Well, I'm shocked it was actually a DVD and not a VHS of some sort.
I know. I think she didn't know how to work a DVD player, so she thought a movie theater would.
Cool.
Speaking of stuff like that, did you see the Red Letter Media tribute to Harry Anderson? It was like how it was a long running bit they were doing, where
with fucking
Rich Evans,
Yeah,
or Mr. Maggot.
if they need to repair his VCR so he can watch Night Court.
Yeah, and he was just him holding the tape, crying.
That's fucking depressing. Why do I want to watch? Anyway,
Yeah.
what's the next story?
okay, next story. So I was under the impression this was a comic book, so it would be more a thing, but it's not. So whatever.
Okay.
But Michael B. Jordan is adapting with one of the co-writers of Black Panther a science fiction story, I think, called Failsafe.
I have like the rundown if you want me to read it. It's only like 4 sentences.
Yeah, sure.
All right. The protagonist is John Revane, a legendary insurgent hunter who thought he had executed the last nanotech-enhanced super soldier in a personal battle.
The fuck?
Yeah, in a personal battle that included the kidnap of his daughter. A decade later, it becomes clear that sleeper agents scattered around the country are activating in an attempt to take over New York, and the government leader who pressed him into duty last time has been exposed as corrupt. The comic is written by DeSanto and Todd Farmer.
Oh, it is based on a comic. I don't
Todd
know what
Farmer.
I'm doing.
Oh no.
Well, it's from a comic company called Vault Comics, which I've never heard of.
I've never heard of this. When you put this in the thing, I was like, what?
Yeah, it's Michael B. Jordan though, so that's why it's
Exactly.
It's
Michael Jordan is getting involved in our medium very heavily.
Yeah, I mean it makes sense that he would have his own plans for this. I thought for a second that this was the Gary Sinise movie where he's a nuclear bomb at the end.
Wait, slow down. No, don't you dare gloss over that. That's some Twin Peaksy shit. I'm sorry. Did you say he is a nuclear bomb?
I think so.
Twin Peaks. I thought that's a Flash season.
So here's the thing. All I remember is my father watching a movie about Gary Sinise where he keeps on dreaming about a nuclear bomb going off. And then I have the memory of Gary Sinise saying something and then him exploding. So I don't know what movie this is. I don't know what this really is.
That's gotta be
to know.
That's got to be the meanest looking bomb ever. Gary Sinise has I guess what you now call as oh shit Michael Shannon eyes, where it's like you're looking across the room at someone's drunk uncle who's like poorly lit, and if he gets up, you know you're dead.
I mean, if you put them in the same room, the entire world would actually explode. So...
You just hear clouds rolling in, like the lights dim. You're like, what's happening?
Yeah.
The one difference
I'm on Comixology. And I'm looking at the covers for each issue.
Yeah.
It actually gets. I'm kind of intrigued to read this.
Oh, well, that's good to know.
Because, like, the covers, they look. It's sort of like what happened with Final Crisis. The people sort of change and degrade over time, or over each issue.
That's interesting. Kind of like that Doomsday story that they were doing. Yeah.
Does he have time for this? Doesn't he have like a insane amount of things he's already signed up for?
Yeah, he does. He does have a lot of stuff, but
what
about
Creed 2? Yeah, Creed 2. Did they already film Fahrenheit 451?
They did. That's already done.
And it's coming out soon too.
Sony narrator and Winter Soldier.
Yeah, I just noticed that on IMDb.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah. And Arlen, the movie you might be thinking of is called The Imposter.
Yes, I just looked it up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
Wait, is that when he went to Mars and came back?
No, that's
that's Red Planet, I think, right?
No, wait a second.
No.
Wait,
No,
it's Mission to Mars.
They're both. It's the same fucking movie, but yeah.
Yeah.
Because one has a robo dog who's a good boy. He's a very good boy.
I feel like there was like 5 movies that involved astronauts going to Mars in like a 3-year period.
And both of them have plants that convert the air to oxygen. That's the place where
I was actually confusing with one where somebody went to Mars and came back, and then the movie's really about the wife figuring out that he's not really.
Oh, the astronaut's wife. It's Johnny Depp and Charlize Theron.
Is it that one?
Damn.
Yep.
Wow.
It's one that pops up all the time on movies lists when I look through Netflix and be like, nope, skipping that. Nope, skipping that. That night, my one roommate years ago owned that movie and loved it, and I was always like, cool.
It's your roommate.
Bad taste.
If your roommate sounds like my ex-girlfriend who made me watch The Notebook 42 times.
Oh God, no.
That movie indoctrinated me by the time I left that girl. Like I was like a year later, I was like, that movie's actually pretty good. And like finally a year later, after that, I'm like, the brainwashing is gone. I hate that movie.
I've never seen it, and I never will.
Yeah.
Same.
It's probably okay on one sitting, and then but any subsequent sittings are torturous. It was that and the Phantom of the Opera movie directed by Schumacher.
Oh,
Ooh.
Yes.
Wait, is this the same person who loved Evanescence?
Yes.
Oh God.
That makes so much sense.
Oh God.
That's like too much sense.
All right. I'm good to move on from this Michael B. Jordan thing. Unless does anybody have any questions about it? I guess any
No.
anybody against this also because it's on Netflix. I'm gonna watch it obviously, like because Michael B. Jordan. But yeah.
Well, it's
I will watch
sci-fi,
it
so.
as long as Max Landis stays the hell away from it.
Well, there's no reason for him to be attached to this, Alan, so I wouldn't be afraid of that.
I don't think he'll be attached to many things in the future.
It's not like he's lurking it's not like he's lurking at Netflix headquarters waiting to sink his fangs in a new project.
I think David Ayer could potentially be attached to this at some
Now
point.
I kind of want that a reality. Like he's just hiding in the corners, and people are like, don't show this to Max. Don't show what to Max?
He's a Netflix vampire. He just lurks in the
Max sticks a
shadows.
Jolly Rancher in somebody's
Is
mouth.
this like how many comic book things has Netflix bought? Because it's this. Did they sign a deal with not
Yeah.
Image?
Mark
Valiant?
Miller. Valiant, who has things.
Oh,
Oh
like
yeah, and they did do the Valiant thing also. Yeah.
Well, that's
And then-
a complete
Valiant?
waste of money.
And then didn't they do something with Keanu that he's going to do some random superhero, not John Wick
Yeah,
thing?
there's. I
Yes,
can't.
yes.
We covered.
I believe-
not that long.
I believe that's an original thing, though, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Well, they're
But
doing,
all
they're
this-
doing the thing about the STDs that turn people into like creatures or whatever.
Oh, black hole.
Yes.
Yeah.
All
and
this
they're
just
doing
keeps
the
making me
Keanu thing.
think is that Marvel's going to be basically told them that they're pulling out.
Well, yeah.
Because why else would they do all this?
No, that's been confirmed for a while that
Yeah.
that's going to happen at some point, and whenever they can contractually take Luke Cage and Daredevil, I don't think they'll take the seasons off, but I think that future seasons will air on the Disney Channel or not the you know what I mean, the Disney
Yeah, well,
streaming.
if they buy
app.
Fox, it'll just be Hulu.
Maybe
'Cause
they're
I
still building their
think-
own thing.
Yeah, but I
at the
think
moment.
if they buy Fox, they own like 60 or 70% of Hulu.
That's
at that point.
So that's going to be part of these contract negotiations that are still ongoing as to whether or not they keep their percentage of Hulu or they sell it off, et cetera, or they divide it up evenly amongst the rest of the studios. That's part of the negotiations that they're doing with the government to decide if they're going to let this deal go through or not. That's
Yeah,
my
Fox-
understanding of it.
Yeah, because all I know is from the other side now, like Fox is in a weird place because outside of this deal, all they were keeping was like sports and like their
News.
political shows, the news shows.
Right.
And
That's all News Corp.
I know you guys aren't like MMA fans, but there's like a huge rumor that the UFC, which had an exclusive deal with Fox, is actually leaving and signing a deal with ESPN and NBC.
That doesn't surprise me at all.
That
So
just
that's
makes
like
sense.
It's a
Yeah.
huge revenue loss, sort of, for Fox though. Like that was an exclusive thing.
Yeah.
So they're like in this weird, because like now Fox, because they launched that sports channel like 5 or 6 years ago, they just have like NASCAR and baseball on.
Yeah.
Well, with the way things are going with each of their news anchors, they're going to have to start selling things sooner rather than later. But that's for a completely different show.
Yeah,
A show that sounds like this. But no, I'm into the failsafe thing. So yeah, Black Panther. When you said written by somebody who wrote Black Panther, I was in. That's all they needed to
You don't
say.
have
They
to
didn't
say
even
much.
need. Yeah. Okay. So first official story. That Ant-Man trailer, yo.
Yeah.
Holy shit, this movie looks so fun.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm
Yeah.
so glad that we have Luis T.I. and the guy that's been like every comic book movie and TV show.
Oh,
David
and
O.
fucking Abracadabra, Abracadabra, right?
Abracadabra, he was the guy in The Dark Knight. He was one of the cops that goes crazy.
Can we have a moment to appreciate...
Oh, he was the false cop.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what I mean. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
the false cop.
Can we have a moment to appreciate Paul Rudd's chuckle that he does? I think he did it in Civil War too, where he just like, oh.
Yeah, when he's gigantic.
Oh, you mean
yes.
when he becomes Giant Man? I laughed my ass off at that sequence. 'Cause
Oh.
he's so amazed with his own ability. He's like, oh.
He's having so much fun. I love it.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the best lines of the trailer when it's like him and Lawrence
Lawrence
Fishburne.
Fishburne.
Like, how big did you get? It's like 35 feet. It's like, oh man, I hit 68, and they're like, oh,
68. Yeah.
or something like that. And then like, I can't remember her name. She's just like, can you guys stop comparing sizes?
So,
Like, it's such a good trailer line.
Oh, Evangeline Lilly.
Yeah.
I like the idea of the MCU introducing like they're fitting extra comic book characters in by making them older and past the time where we'd see them in a
Mhm.
Exactly. I think I said the same thing in the Pixels group. Like, I love this idea of, like, oh, there was this kind of, like, heyday of, like, sort of heroes that, like, no one really gave a crap about, so no one wrote or said anything about them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm getting
They're
the
all,
impression.
they were all like top secret, right? Like the Ant-Man project was a
Yeah,
top
because
secret
he's
thing.
Lawrence Fishburne is Goliath, and he's also, like, at best, a D-list Marvel hero.
Right.
Yeah, well, he
he
got
actually
killed
died
during
in
Civil War.
Yeah, I was gonna say the most famous thing he ever did was get killed by a clone of, like, a robot clone of Thor.
Yep.
Yeah, it's really cool for a black guy to get killed by a blonde-haired, blue-eyed guy.
Yeah.
So before Black Panther and Infinity War came out, Ant-Man was my favorite Marvel movie, and I really like that. This looks like on par with what
You know, I doubt it's gonna happen, but I really hope he goes back to Baskin Robbins just for one.
Oh, I'm sure
Just
they'll
for
make
one
a
scene.
joke.
Well, it's.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Aaron. I was just gonna say.
I was gonna say it's a comic book sequel, but it's also a comedy sequel because the first Ant-Man movie is firmly in the comedy camp more than any other Marvel movie, other than maybe Guardians. So, and the problem with comedy sequels sometimes is they repeat the same jokes from the first one. So I hope that doesn't happen too much.
Yeah.
Hold on, I'm gonna turn around and look at Hangover 2 really hard.
And Hangover
God.
3.
They made 3 movies that are the exact same movie.
I think two is the more guilty one because at some point in the movie, when the musical act happens, I'm like, wait a second, they just laid down the plot of the first one on a piece of paper and just traced it, and then replaced some stuff and called it a day.
Oh, the director is an irredeemable asshole. So, what I was going to say though about the Ant-Man sequel coming out when it is, like, I know there's been a lot of people, including that one. Who was it who had the article out? Vice or somebody who's saying like, why should I care about Ant-Man after Infinity War? I think the placing of a comedy after Infinity War is actually a really good choice. It's a nice.
It's one of the stages of grief.
It's a nice
palate
balm.
cleanser.
Yeah, it's a balm for a lot of people who maybe weren't as invested in
Also,
these movies.
And then like when Captain Marvel comes out, like we get a taste of what's coming for Thanos' chin.
Yeah.
To me, I want Captain Marvel to be like a 1980s like Arnold Schwarzenegger style action movie, but with a woman.
Yeah.
I was
That's like
reading somewhere that Ant-Man and the Wasp actually ties into Infinity War.
Yes, I read that too. It's like what I read was it goes from before to after the events of Infinity War.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so it'll end somewhere between the two movies. So my theory was that Evangeline Lilly and Douglas will like dust off, and then it'll be Lang and Michelle Pfeiffer will be there at the end, and they'll be in Avengers 2 or Avengers.
And I wouldn't be surprised if elements of this movie heavily impact the plot of Infinity War, the sequel, or whatever it's going to be called.
Time runs out.
Infinityist War.
Yeah, because in the quantum zone, quantum place.
Time works different.
Yes, it works differently. So I wouldn't be surprised if that has something to do with how they're able to travel backwards or forwards. Because, I mean, spoilers, but we've seen set photos of them going back to the Battle of New York. So
Loki's back.
Yeah. So, like, their time travel is going to play a part in this next movie.
I have a theory about how Avengers 4 will end.
Yeah.
I think with this time travel shenanigans, Tony has to go back and convince himself to die with that bomb.
Ooh, I like that.
Interesting.
Okay.
Because that would cut out so much, though.
If there's no Tony, there's no Ultron, there's no Civil War.
Yeah.
And they come back to maybe like Thanos still shows up, but the timeline's altered and the hero side is way bolstered as opposed to how it was before.
So my only problem with that is I have a separate theory that is slightly goes against that one into this. I think the trailer, specifically the second trailer, when he says we have one advantage, Thanos is coming to us, I think that's a line from the second movie. I think that's a line from the next one. And I think that's and you rewatch that line, he's confident. Because it's like he knows that home field advantage will be helpful, and it sounds to me like he's going back to that scene where he meets Doctor Strange, and instead of saying I don't know what the best plan is, he realizes no, we need the entirety of the Avengers to do this.
Yeah, I feel like to me the ending will be, I don't know how, but Cap will get the gauntlet, and then he'll be the only one that could muster to use it, but it'll still burn him out.
See, that's where I'm slightly differing. I think it is going to be everybody's going to be at the end, but the line that Thanos said to Tony when they were on Titan, saying like, "Oh, I know who you are, Stark. You also have the burden of knowledge." I feel like that was setting up Tony as he's going to be someone else who can wield the gauntlet. And I think they're just going to switch the Cap and Tony places with the gauntlet.
You know what I think?
Oh.
Can I say my theory real quick?
Sure.
Sure.
Mhm.
Wait.
Okay.
Wait.
Okay.
If it has to involve Moon Knight, no.
No,
Okay.
it doesn't. It doesn't. I promise. Okay, ready? All right. So they go back
He's
to
like-
the Battle of New York,
He's
right?
like, so Moon Knight.
They go back to the Battle of New York, right? And for some reason, Scarlet Witch is there, and they're like, "Oh, what are you doing? Like, what's going on?" And all of a sudden, Quicksilver comes back.
God damn it.
No.
I actually
No.
wouldn't mind if they figured out how to bring him back. But
I feel like I'm in the
Quicksilver,
minority of people who like Quicksilver from Age of Ultron, so
Quicksilver.
I like.
Quicksilver runs so fast that he travels back in time.
And that's
he sees Barry and they're just like, hey, what's up?
I liked
Where you
Quicksilver in
going?
Age of Ultron, but he didn't have enough time on screen
No,
for
he
me to really get to know
I
him.
think there's an interesting legacy left by him because Hawkeye names his son after him.
Yeah.
Mhm.
wait, what? Really?
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Say that.
His name is
I didn't even
Nathaniel.
catch that.
Nathaniel Pietro Barton.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
He's got at the end of Ultron, he's wearing a bib that has his, or it's like a shirt that has his name on it, and it's Nathaniel Pietro.
Oh.
Yeah.
Also, I didn't know if you guys saw. I posted it in the chat. I
Yeah,
guess in like some
I saw.
Q&A, Russo confirmed that is Thanos within the Soul Stone when he talks to Gamora, and that is her soul trapped in it.
Yeah, apparently all you have to do is get directors of movies that have to be tight-lipped, go to a school and answer kids' questions, and it's a
Yeah.
wealth of information.
Yeah. So let's,
Because that happened there, and they also confirmed that no, Venom is not part of our universe. like, there's a kid who had asked about the Venom movie apparently, and they're like, nope, that's not our property.
I kind of imagine like fucking the kid asked that, and Joe Russo's like, haha, no.
It'd be funny though
Yeah.
if Russo
Nope.
confirmed the life theory. If he was like,
That would be great.
yeah. But anyways, Ant-Man and the Wasp looks dope. Ghost.
I
looks
am,
like an
I
interesting
am-
villain. So
I am already a huge
Mhm.
mark for Wasp. I love Evangeline Lilly.
I think like Ant-Man's one of my favorite MCU characters, so it's like really great.
And we
Yeah.
still have not seen Michelle Pfeiffer in any of the trailer or the teaser, right?
I'm glad.
No.
Though. I'm glad.
I
She
know
was
that's what
on
I'm
the
saying.
poster.
I'm happy. Like I don't want to see.
Yeah.
I was kind of actually mad that they showed Ghost without the mask already.
Yeah, but only in the poster, right?
Yeah,
no, they
but
show
like,
her in the trailer. With
I,
the
I
mask
would have
on.
rather gone into the movie not knowing like that it was a her.
I mean, I knew
Well,
from
they
the
really-
casting
they need to
because
make
we
money.
did the story on here.
Yeah, I know.
So
But, like,
I knew already, but yeah, I get it. I get what you mean.
Well, no, the last trailer they even say like, who's that? And they're like, oh, she stole something. Like
Yeah.
they
'Cause I feel like in the
specifically
movie,
reference
like,
her.
Scott getting his ass kicked by her, and then it being revealed that it's a girl, like or a woman, that he would be like, "Oh," and then just Evangeline Lilly making fun of him again for his shitty
Yeah.
combat
Fighting
skills.
skills.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
the normies, but not for the people who know all about this shit, like we do, unfortunately. Yeah, that's.
I know. I guess I have a better expectation after the two cameos that were hidden in Infinity War. That they can
Right.
actually hide stuff.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
why don't you guys actually hide stuff?
I mean, to be fair, like the Agent 13 being Peggy's granddaughter wasn't that wasn't a mystery to me because they announced that she was her granddaughter when they were casting her for Winter Soldier, not even for Civil War. They announced it back then. That
Well,
she was gonna be playing the
once she was
role.
cast Agent 13, like Agent 13 is a character you can look up.
Right, but
Well,
they said it
that and-
as Peggy Carter's granddaughter in the news. In some of the
Well,
reports.
didn't they even say in Winter Soldier, like, say her name? Like, don't they say Agent Carter at one point, if I
No,
remember
they
right?
never.
Yeah,
they
they
never say her last name. They say Agent 13, and they say her first name, but they never
Yeah,
say
well-
that her name is.
Well,
Well, her name isn't Carter anyway. It's like whatever her dad's or granddad's name.
Yeah.
I avoided all press materials for Winter Soldier, and it worked out to my benefit because I left that movie just dumbfounded.
oh, I didn't see anything spoily. Like, I totally went in dumbfounded, or came out dumbfounded as well.
But like, think about Infinity War. If you knew Red Skull or Peter
God,
Dinklage
no.
were in
they
it, like
wouldn't have
those
announced
were
that one in the casting. Like,
Yeah.
Like I don't think.
Well,
Peter
I'm-
Dinklage.
I'm glad I
Dinklage
didn't
is
know that.
different.
That's
I'm
what
glad
I'm
I didn't
saying.
know fucking Yoda shows up in Last Jedi. That knocked me
Yeah,
in my
yeah,
ass.
same, yeah.
I think
Like-
they're better at hiding some things. And Dinklage, everybody just assumed he would be MODOK. Like, Nobody thought that he would be.
I heard
Because they're,
Pip
they're
the Troll.
profiling him.
Pip the
Profiling
Troll is
wrong.
what I thought. Yeah, and actually, in all honesty, the first time I saw his name, like when somebody focused in on the poster, I was like, "Oh, somebody photoshopped that in." Like
Yeah,
that was just dream casting.
And
I didn't really
Peter
think it-
Dinklage.
Yeah,
I thought at best he was going to be like a voiceover for something.
Mm-hmm.
is
Yeah.
someone playing keyboard in the background?
What was
Yes,
that?
I
Is
am.
someone
I'm
Somebody
providing
Is
you.
using
Vincent-
a vibrator
is in-
or something?
Is
I mean-
Vincent Price coming on?
ominous music?
It's a personal back massager.
Anyways, I do
By
understand
the way,
the
I-
thing, though. I get
By the
that.
way,
Yeah.
I watched about 15 minutes of that 1 hour Nanos is Vitas fucking video.
Why?
Did you
Because
watch
I
the
don't
actual
have-
video it came from, though.
Yes.
The weird trailer.
Okay. Yeah, because it's so good. I love it so much.
No, I didn't just find that and go, huh,
You're
this is
gonna
a good way to
cry.
waste 15 minutes.
The fucking
Bully McGuire is like my new favorite thing.
this
Anyway,
asking people if they want to cry is actually hilarious to me.
all it did was remind me how much I really hate Spider-Man 3. It's still bad, you apologists. You're out there.
Yep.
Bad-
If
One of you I respect a great deal, and it hurts
If
me.
you aren't 7, fuck you.
We're talking about the
7,
We're talking about the
and you like that
Raimi
movie,
one, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
Raimi
Sandman?
number 3.
Oh.
Yeah.
What sucks is I feel like what's his name was great casting as Sandman. He looked perfect.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Here's the thing. What makes that movie really bad is that in a couple
Topher
places
Grace?
they nailed it.
Yeah,
Like-
like Sandman's whole like arc is awesome.
Yeah.
Like-
Yeah.
Except when he like wisps away at the end, like whoosh.
He's like, I gotta go turn back into sand now. Oh, I'll see you later.
Yeah. And even the Gwen Stacy casting wasn't terrible either.
Man,
so,
I
No.
have to say, like
Gosh.
that whole movie, I'm like, oh, here it comes. Oh, nope, so close.
Nah,
That's the
I
problem. You can't put Gwen Stacy in a movie and expect like the knowing audience to not lean forward and go, oh, you pulled back.
the weirdest
I
part of
mean-
that is they took a natural redhead and turned her blonde and made her Gwen Stacy.
Yeah, and the reverse for Dunst because
Yeah.
it's, weird.
I know.
Weirdness. Anyways, any
Actually, I have
other
something to say.
thoughts on the? Go ahead, bud.
It's about Infinity War, and it's a line that I just remembered from X-Men: Days of Future Past.
Right.
The whole Eric Charles thing, like you were supposed to protect us.
Yeah.
And I laughed my ass off watching that scene earlier.
Why are you heartless? That's like one of the best scenes in the movie.
Yeah, that's a pretty good scene.
No, just the fact that
From
That's
a
like-
movie.
no, I'm talking about how that specific line is set in both a Fox Marvel film and a main Marvel film.
Yeah,
Oh,
kind
you're
of.
supposed to protect us? Yeah. I mean, one
Yeah.
is delivered with the fucking the power of an F5 tornado. So
Oh no.
I mean,
Fassbender is.
Mr. Kent.
You just got the like. You tried to stiff
Sometimes you
arm
gotta
the-
let those people
John-
dissolve, Clark.
John Kent went to become a fucking casting director in Hollywood, but he's just a wispy tornado the entire time.
Sometimes
go
you
on
gotta
to
let
go
a
start-
purple man let half the universe die, Clark.
I know none of you saw this, but he went to go on to star in the worst football movie of all time.
No, but I know that movie exists. So
Draft
that's enough
Day.
for me.
Oh, it is so bad. And here's a connection. Superman from Smallville is in it.
Huh?
I knew
Wait,
that
yes.
actually.
What
I
movie?
knew that.
Draft Day. It stars Kevin Costner. What's his name? That's Superman from Smallville.
Tom Welling?
Yeah, Tom Welling is the
I'm
aging.
involved in
Uh-oh.
that movie.
Yes, he's the aging quarterback on the team, and he is the Kevin Costner's the GM of the Browns. And
Yeah.
just going back to Amazing Spider-Man, what's his name? The Gwen Stacy's dad is the coach.
Dennis
Oh.
Leary?
Dennis Leary is the coach, and they
So
pull
do you
off.
want to say who the director is, or do you want me to do it?
Oh, you could do it.
It's the director of Ghostbusters, which is the
Wait,
sad
Paul
part.
Feig?
The new
the
one?
original Ghostbusters.
Oh.
Yeah, Ivan Reitman did some stuff. That
Well,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I say that, but Ivan Reitman also directed Evolution, a film from my
Oh,
childhood.
I
So,
love Evolution.
I love it from a nostalgia point of view because I have.
Well,
very
that was
little nostalgia.
that was. I think they say it was supposed to be the Ghostbusters 3, and they're like, "Oh, this is too far from that," and they made it Evolution.
Yeah.
But it's
That's
so classic Duchovny.
Yeah, that's a movie where it is so clearly made in the era that it was made. Like it's
Oh, it's got
Duchovny
such
and-
great.
Yeah.
Orlando Jones, Sean William
Yeah.
Scott, Julianne Moore, Dan Aykroyd is in
Good
it.
lord.
The most
Sean
Ben
William Scott.
casting ever.
The most
The most
American
of-
Pie era.
Yeah.
The most
I can't remember the
at that
guy's name.
moment
The
casting.
the
like
guy from My Name Is Earl and all like Clerks and Mallrats, the big heavy
Oh.
guy.
Jason Lee.
mhm.
No, not Jason Lee. His
No,
the brother.
Ethan Suplee.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's him and Donkey from Salute My Shorts.
Jesus Christ.
Donkey lips.
Yeah, Donkey
Yeah.
Lips.
I still have their fucking Halloween episode burned into my brain
It's a great
Absolute-
show.
of Salute Your Shorts.
Yeah.
And then there's
For those
people on the
haven't
show who
seen Evolution,
weren't even born when it came on.
You're old.
Yeah.
I remember watching
Uh,
episodes of it on.
And for those who
on
haven't
gas.
seen the film Evolution, it ends with a man pumping shampoo into a giant starfish's asshole.
No, that man is Orlando Jones, and he gets sucked into it at a point
Yep.
and gets pulled out, and then says like, "Don't ask me where I've been."
If Evolution were a superhero movie, we would be doing it on the show. Because damn, it's so fucking crazy. Oh god.
Anything else on Ant-Man and Wasp for anybody else?
Nope.
I think we said our piece. Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
good. Yeah, super excited for it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Next story. Ryan Reynolds has, without saying too much, and Fox Marvel deal has something to do with this. There may not be a Deadpool 3 after Deadpool.
That's because Deadpool 3 is going to be X-Force.
Yep.
Yeah. We
Although
said
I
in
do want to
one of
say,
the
in
chats.
all the Deadpool marketing, have you noticed who's not in any of it?
Who?
Mr. I'm calling it a bomb threat
Fucking
to
T.J. Miller.
Yeah.
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 Who Ryan Reynolds also said will not be an X-Force.
Mhm.
No
Yeah,
shit.
he was featured in like the first trailer for Deadpool 2, and he hasn't. Or no, he's briefly in the latest one.
Wait,
But,
that's
like-
TJ Miller.
Oh man.
Alan,
He
do
called
you
in
not-
he called in a bomb threat, Al,
Yeah.
What?
in
Well,
New York.
Yes, on a
Alan.
train from New York to like Pittsburgh.
That's why one of our After Darks is called T.J. Miller Bombs.
I thought it had something to do with the movie.
No. That's
No, he's
Alan.
he's going to go to jail, like real, not movie jail, but like actual
No,
jail,
like
He's going to jail.
actual jail.
like actual
like-
federal prison.
Well, it's a
No,
federal
like,
offense, isn't it?
Horrible person.
Yes, it's like a
Yes.
minimum. It's like 5-year minimum.
Best case scenario is he hires some really good lawyers and he gets like house arrest for like ever.
Maybe,
Yeah.
but this happened in New York, so
Yeah, and
They're
Rudy
not-
Giuliani.
they
Well,
don't-
not really Giuliani, but yeah.
No,
Cuomo
it's
was
gonna
Rudy
roast
it.
Giuliani. He'll personally escort him
Oh,
to
man.
prison.
I can't remember
Yeah,
Um,
no.
there, but
so
he's
yeah,
always
that's-
because it's soft, so he's gonna go hard at him.
Yeah, Deadpool. There's no Deadpool 3 because Deadpool 3 is obviously X-Force.
Right.
Yeah.
And also,
No question.
if the Disney Fox deal does go through, which I'm hearing things that say it probably is, he needs to know what Disney's plans are with Deadpool before he can
Mhm.
sign up for a Deadpool 3, because Deadpool is his baby. Like, as far as I know, he is completely in control of that character, and he is the person who's making most of the decisions about what happens to Deadpool in the future. So whether or not he continues to play Deadpool in solo movies depends on what the studios that will be in control of the character at the time of Deadpool 3, what their approach is towards Deadpool.
God, can you
If
imagine
he
Reynolds
changed-
getting? Can you imagine Reynolds getting fucked out of his dream role by studio shenanigans twice?
I don't think it's gonna happen because I think they are he's so disconnected
Think about
from the rest
How
of the.
much fucking money Deadpool 1 made?
Yeah.
I think he is fucking. He has full he has cards up his sleeve that he can just use at any time.
Yeah,
I
no,
think,
he
like I
has-
was saying,
I
they're
think he
so
has a weapon.
disconnected that like, even if they got rid of all the other X-Men movies, like they're not really connected to them. Where they could
Yeah.
kind of keep that.
Yeah.
Well, the joke is they are connected, but they're not connected because continuity.
I mean,
Yeah.
worst case scenario is he just makes X-Force movies forever, which I'm fine with. Also.
Yeah,
Which
I'm
I
not
want. I
complaining.
just want every one of them to just collect a bunch of fucking Z-tier X-Men characters and throw them in a bucket.
Yeah, dude.
I just want a joke about like, oh, you would look good in purple to Cable.
I want to see them pull out Strife and just have him be made of
Oh
knives.
my god.
No. Please
Well,
no.
so we need Josh Brolin to play another character.
Just fucking copy and paste Shredder from the Ninja Turtles reboot.
Please no.
Yes.
The walking can opener.
Please no.
God damn it. They could, yeah, there's a lot of things that they could do in the future. But I don't know, I'm not surprised by this story because again, like
Mm-mm.
the future is uncertain at the moment.
Dude,
as to where
I
things
feel
will
like
be.
I feel like news even on the X-Men front has been very quiet.
Well, they pushed back the 2 movies, didn't they? Again.
Yeah, it's like right on the edge of when Disney would get a hold of the studio.
It's almost like
Yeah, 2019,
like-
isn't it?
it's like Fox
Yeah.
is being quiet because they know that after these movies, like it's no longer their baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It's
they're-
almost like somebody's like seen a cut of Dark Phoenix and is like, can we just push this back and make Thanos snap his fingers and make it go away?
Well, no, I mean, I don't think it's even that bad. I think it's more that with their continuing behind the scenes deals with Disney, like Disney's like, no, you need to push these back
Okay.
because
Hear me out. Hear me out on this.
Whoa,
is somebody in a truck?
Whoa!
Is somebody driving a truck?
No,
Someone definitely enjoyed the sound of Dark Phoenix being said.
Nope.
That's-
But hear me out on this real quick. All right. So, what if they pushed it back just to like? Because like, I'm not saying they don't have faith in it. Like, what if they pushed it back to like use this as not a bargaining chip almost, but like kind of like, hey, these movies happen. Maybe we can make others.
Right.
yeah.
See something like that.
Oh, as like a pretty please let us keep doing this Disney kind of thing.
Yeah.
right.
Mm.
Yeah.
But
I see
hope
it
they
more
look-
as them pushing them back for like a
I-
saying like, oh, here's potential revenue we've already
But I
invested.
hope that
Yeah.
Fox walks up to Disney like Oliver Twist and says, "Please, sir, may I have some more?" And Disney goes, "No."
I think of it as more like a Warner Brothers deal, where it's like, we're going to release this movie as late as possible in the dealing so
Mhm.
you guys can't back out.
Yeah.
So you guys can't see, so the movie can't tank, and you guys say, oh, never mind, we don't want to do this, no!
And I mean, to be completely frank, like I was under the impression that Fox was really trying to jettison a lot of this stuff. Like even if the Disney deal doesn't happen, like they're
Oh.
still going to try and get rid of
Yes.
all of
Right.
these other properties
I
they have.
100%.
Sell it to
I-
IDW,
I think-
right, Alan?
Damn.
I think actually the comic side is where we're seeing most of the developments because the Fantastic Four are coming back, and that was a team and a property that like Marvel Comics had like effectively just snuffed out of existence.
Oh yeah, I could put the crimson
Yeah.
letter on them. Yeah.
But on
Yeah.
like they did it to like hurt the Fox movies. which-
Yeah, and
Where the
Now
Fantastic Four
that-
was really not necessary.
Well,
No,
yeah,
they
they're
hurt
bringing it
themselves
back
by making
because- Yeah, they're only bringing it back because of this movement towards going back to the original characters or whatever that they do like every 3 years.
Also, they're gonna bring them into the MCU.
Yeah.
Like,
I hope
Also,
they're not
and
bringing
with-
the
Of all the
X-Men.
characters
with-
that Fox owns, the Fantastic Four make the most sense where they could fit in so
Yes.
easily.
totally, I agree with that.
Yeah,
I
and
kind of like call bullshit on like when people are like, I'm not calling. I mean, call bullshit is kind of like the wrong word to use, but like here's where my kind of like skepticism for like Marvel's marketing comes in, where things like Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite come out,
I was about to bring this up.
only MCU characters, right?
Mhm.
Look at the characters they're pushing now. The,
Mhm.
like I have this hard time believing that these characters that they're putting out there aren't going to be used at some.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just the cynic in me. But like, I guess like what I'm saying is like,
Well, also, and like, look what happened with Marvel vs. Capcom Infinity. Like, its reception is poor at best, and I don't think coincidentally it absolutely has to do with the lack of X-Men characters and how they handled that
Mhm.
they
PR.
pulled it from Evo, which is like the biggest fighting game event. Of the
Yeah.
year. They were just like, nope, this isn't going to be there.
Yeah.
Well, Wally
And maybe
wasn't
like on
there.
Marvel side, they're like, wow, people really like these characters. Maybe we should try to treat them a little better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who here hasn't heard that bit of PR nonsense from the Marvel vs. Capcom Infinity dude about the X-Men characters?
I don't think I did. I knew they weren't in the game, but I just
Prepare.
the game wasn't great.
They
off.
okay. Yeah, they had this dude go out in front of a crowd and basically imply that no one remembers the X-Men and that basically these are not characters, they are functions and functions only. So you can just swap out Magneto for somebody else with a similar ability, and there's no difference. It completely shat on like player preference and like fan favorites and people who are aware of the X-Men.
Actually, ridiculous for a crossover game, or like a crossover in general. No one cares about mechanics. They just want to play as Magneto and fight Ryu. Like,
yeah.
Or they want to play as the Mr. Pringle Sentinel.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I own Injustice 2 because I like having Ninja Turtles beat up Batman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
And then they fight Hellboy.
I have to re-download that game.
And then Sub-Zero shows up.
And then Raiden.
I could deal without the MK characters.
And then pregnant Gex shows up.
No!
Damn you. Okay.
There's a
Soon.
Raiden skin for Black Lightning, though, right?
Yeah.
No, it's a Black Lightning skin for Raiden.
Oh, okay.
That's what I mean. Whatever. Like how there's a Vixen skin for.
It's a premier skin, so it works like Bizarro, Reverse Flash, Vixen, and a couple of things.
Do they alter the Black Lightning special move or whatever his fatality?
Here's the thing. Yes, they changed basically it's the same like motion and stuff, but the big MK logo and all that stuff that's related to MK is changed to big giant electrical fists.
Okay, cool.
There's a lot of really beautiful touches in Injustice 2 that make it a very ambitious fighting game. Not just from like a fighting game perspective, but just from like how much shit there is to do and all this effort that went into design.
Yeah.
That's
well,
awesome.
you can tell it's a company that actually cares about the properties they're dealing with, even if they're not their properties.
Yeah.
Well, the fact that they even got like Hellboy and TMNT in this game that is a DC game is crazy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
All right.
TMNT just had the crossover with Batman too. So,
Right.
anyways,
Well,
next
they all
story.
cross over with everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are
My
we good on the
family died,
Deadpool
Raphael.
thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. All right. Okay. I'm gonna try and get through this next story.
Everybody sit down.
I'm
I'm gonna go get another beer.
I can just hear "Quit Playing Games with My Heart" playing in the background of Arlen's mind right now.
It is. Quit playing games with my heart. Okay. So
DC, Warner Brothers has once again threatened us with announcements, and this time they followed through.
Right. Okay. So, and this is an important thing to bring up. So for the new streaming service or whatever that's unnamed, that's DC only, or did they was that
It's
part of the
DC
announcement?
Universe is the name.
It's called
DC
DC Universe.
Okay, that's a fine name. They're doing original shows. Okay, that's great. They've announced that James Wan is producing one of these shows. Mark Verheyen and Gary Dauberman. Gary Dauberman was involved with It, I guess, or he's going to be involved.
This is the James Wan that's
you're
doing
burying
Aquaman.
the lead.
No,
You're burying the lead,
getting to it.
Arlen.
I'm getting to
Swamp Thing!
it. Okay, Allan, you're fired. Mark Verheyen worked on Battlestar Galactica and Daredevil. Okay, point is, they are doing a Swamp Thing series.
Another one.
So they said. Yes, another one.
I don't believe this for a fucking second. I don't believe that this is a
Oh,
good
man.
weapon.
Is this where we're at with DC and Warner Bros? We're like, I don't believe you, even when a formal
don't
announcement
even-
comes
I
out with
don't
like
even
logos
believe
and
it.
shit.
No, I don't believe this. I don't think it's gonna happen. The only
So
Because
you're
reason,
saying
like,
this isn't the we're making 3 Joker movies. One of them has Harley Quinn. One's directed by Martin Scorsese. Okay,
Right.
bye. This is
Yeah.
here's some shows that are coming out with logos and official titles and synopsises.
See, I believe Teen Titans because we've seen pictures, and I
Right.
believe Young Justice because I think we've seen images.
They announced,
But-
that's what's been announced for a
Also,
while.
if they fuck up Young Justice, like nerds everywhere will rise up and destroy them.
Right.
It is one of the best
It'll
animated
be
shows.
it'll be the thing that finally breaks the community's back. Like you canceled it again.
I
Yeah.
mean, the fact that 2 of their pilot shows are about kind of the same thing says that I think that they're focusing on Young Justice very hard, and the fact that they made a live action Titan show, which is not different from that says something
No.
about what they're doing.
I think
Yeah.
the Outsiders subtitle has to do with the fact that Teen Titans is coming because, as far as I know, I haven't finished Young Justice yet, but like the Titans and the Young Justice team kind of start to intermingle.
Yeah. I just assumed that they didn't want to use Titans, the name, like they felt.
Yeah, I
that-
think they wanted to separate from the Teen Titans show before it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think. Well, it's a very Cartoon Network decision. Like, it can't have the same name. Don't you understand?
The thing, the design and everything, I think it kind of is like the same design that they took from that and worked through all these other DC animated films. At least for most of the characters, like they look very similar. Like the Beast Boy in
It
that
is
looks
very
very
similar.
similar to the Beast
Yeah.
Boy in the Teen Titans thing.
It's like a stretched out Tim animation.
Yeah. How
so-
far have you gotten into it, Connor?
I'm probably like a third of the way through the first season.
Season 2 is so much better.
They're easy to burn through because it's a fucking cartoon, so it's 20 minutes. But because they're serialized, like I don't want to do too many in one sitting.
The best part of those shows is how deep, to me, they went into like the Roy Harper. Like Roy Harper as such a throwaway character, they do so much with him.
Yeah, he seems to be. There's a lot of focus put on him in this, and they come just close to the line of turning him into a cartoon, like he is in the comic where he's talking to a dead cat.
Damn it! I was gonna ask, does he have a robot arm and shaking a dead cat in an alley?
No, but like he very clearly has some kind of. He has some kind of decline that kind of mirrors that. It's not quite the same.
Yeah.
Oh, so he starts shooting up then.
If you guys haven't seen it, so I have seen it. I'm holding my breath in all these comments.
Oh,
The only part I don't like on Young Justice was the origins of Superboy were really weird.
It's kind of lazy. It's like, oh, he was made by what is it? It's not Argus. Is it Argus?
No, it's Cadmus.
Yeah.
Cadmus. There we
Well,
go.
what's with like the psychic troll dolls or whatever they are?
I don't fucking know. That hasn't been
Well,
followed up on
Guardian's
yet.
there, so and he's a clone too, but
Well, there was okay. Is
Yeah,
Guardian and the
Guardian-
Ray the same person?
No,
no, different people.
Why was Guardian dressed exactly like the Ray in Young Justice?
because that's
Because
how the
comics.
Guardian looks in the comics.
Oh,
Because comics.
wow, they're way too similar.
Guardian is like a
Um,
shitty
oh-
Captain America.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've gone over this.
He
Anyway,
looks
been
like
over
he has the color scheme of Nova, but has a shield.
yeah.
Yeah, we were not a fan of him from Supergirl season 2.
Yeah. Yeah. His best appearance was in an alternate universe. So yeah.
Where he dies immediately.
Although I kind of am starting to like Supergirl more than I am the Flash.
No,
I mean, in this season, that's not hard. So, I'll
Well,
give
yeah.
you-
As
Flash continues to lower the bar.
right.
you know what it is, the reason I like Win. It's like the one
Win-
reason I put
Yeah.
Supergirl over Flash. I like Win.
Win is a top character. But yeah, I don't know. Like this something thing. Again, I'll wait till I see it. Like I have to see a trailer, and I have
Also-
to see a pilot.
I also
before
want to
believe
see
that this is
a
happening.
price point on this app. Like you guys, I remember what you guys have done the CBS one. How much was that a month? I know you did
That
the free
was,
trial.
$7.99, I think.
I feel
but
like that's the top that this app can go. I would prefer
Yeah.
close to $5, but anything over.
I would
like
say
$8
if
is
your
easy.
streaming service is only offering like the content of one brand, there's no excuse for you to go over $10.
No, well, if
Yeah.
it's 3 new shows and then it's a bunch of like, what else are they going to have on there? Like,
I can't
think they're
imagine
gonna have
they won't.
other,
They've
like
got to
animated
have.
content.
I'm thinking that this is where you're going to go to find all the old Warner Bros. Cartoons that are Justice League related.
well, the thing is,
Yeah.
like, would they have Super Friends? Because that's in a weird. I don't think they own.
I don't think they own it.
Okay.
That's a
probably-
Hanna-Barbera.
That's probably in the same murky rights pool that Batman 66 was in
Can you
for a long
imagine?
time.
Yeah.
in 2018 being able to binge watch Super Friends.
Why
Well,
would you want to?
You get to see the origins of Black Lightning. He was called Black Vulcan.
All right.
And you get Apache Chief and the.
I
Wonder
was
Twins.
alive when that show was airing, at least the later episodes.
Me too.
It is nowhere near as good as nostalgia is making you think it is.
No,
Do not
it's-
watch
it's-
it.
First
So
of all,
can I just say
you watch
something
it
about
the
Guardian?
same. What?
Alan?
No. It's there's,
Wait,
there's a reason why everyone compares him to Captain America. He was created by Joe Simon and Jack Kirby.
Alan, okay, I'm gonna
Yeah,
steal
okay.
He's a-
from the
he's a
copy
big
button here.
muscle white
Alan,
Is
guy
there a
with his-
I'm gonna-
lag? Are you?
I'm gonna forget that bit after we're done with the show. I didn't need to know it.
Like, Alan, are you on another plane of existence right now? We were talking
No,
about that 2
I
minutes
wanted
ago.
to say it. I wanted to say it, but you guys moved on, and I was like,
Okay.
"Fuck!"
You should have. interject.
Anyways.
If it's
Anyway.
really that important.
Anyways, but yeah, Super Friends is not a good cartoon, and no one should pay it any mind because
No,
it's
but
bad.
It's something.
bad.
It's something you watched in between Space Ghost
Right.
and Captain Caveman.
With that said,
Yeah,
though,
with
I do remember when the Wonder Twins showed up on Smallville.
Yes, it was
And
terrible.
there it
Kill
is.
me.
Well,
Kill
I
me
was
now.
gonna say,
Okay.
I remember when Apache Chief appeared on Harvey Birdman, Attorney
Yes.
at Law.
Oh,
And
God.
he couldn't
He
grow
could not
anymore
grow
because he
anymore.
spilled hot
Hot
coffee, or somebody spilled hot
I-
coffee on his crotch.
I really want to say that Harvey Birdman, Attorney at Law, I think is one of the greatest animated comedic achievements ever.
Did you get that thing I sent you?
Did you get that thing? No, I didn't get that thing I sent you. I've never gotten that thing you sent me. I don't think I'm gonna get that thing you
Do
sent
you
me.
remember? There was one episode when he's like, "You see that guy over there? Yeah, he didn't. He got that thing you sent him, and he deleted it. And he's like, oh, and he hulks out.
I don't even remember what I was going to say anymore.
But that's one of my favorite shows ever. I think it's like it's a
My
perfect-
favorite episode is the Johnny Quest. But what is it? When Bannon is trying to take the paternal rights from Dr.
Oh yeah,
Quest.
because Dr. Quest puts them in danger too often.
Yes.
Or when Scooby and Shaggy were brought in on marijuana charges.
Yes.
Yeah.
The most unsubtle joke in the history of TV. It's so awesome. Anyway,
So with Swamp Thing, I didn't get to read the synopsis. Did they actually have one of what the show is going to be?
There is one. Okay, so okay. The drama follows what happens when CDC researcher Abby Arcane returns to her home of Houma, Louisiana, in order to investigate a deadly swamp-borne virus. There, she develops a surprising bond with scientist Alec Holland, only to have him tragically taken away from her. As mysterious forces descend upon Houma, intent on exploiting the swamp's mysterious properties for their own purposes, Abby will discover that the swamp holds mystical secrets, both horrifying and wondrous, and the potential of her life may not be gone after all.
Okay.
So they're starting from the beginning.
Okay.
Yeah, my question would be how far into a season does he get offed?
I'm
'Cause it
guessing
feels like
episode
pilot.
one.
And
Yeah.
But,
end
how
of
do
the
you
pilot.
how do you make
Yeah.
it that they're like she just gets there and they're automatically in love?
Well, but that's the thing. They weren't in love with each other until much later in the
Yeah,
comic
until
series.
he was Swamp Thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
there'll
But
be a time. There'll be a
She's
time.
also from that
Yeah.
area because she was raised by her creepy uncle
Yeah,
Well,
Anton
yeah.
Arcane. Yeah.
Who-
and
I'm
Adrian
assuming-
Barbeau.
I'm assuming he's the powerful forces that are descending
Yeah.
on Houma.
Man, those movies have a fucking weird cultural footprint.
They're amazing. Again, that reminds me of another Adult Swim cartoon show, which was C Lab when
Oh my god.
when he becomes the Barbobot.
God damn it.
God damn it.
I mean, to be fair, that movie,
I remember the Adrian Barbeau bot.
as cheesy as that movie is, as
I
far
have
as,
double D breasts of destruction.
as far as early Swamp Thing, like classic comic book Swamp Thing, it's not that far off.
No, the first
I-
one definitely.
I think
It's
it's
also got
is
the
it
fucking dad from Twin Peaks in it. It's
yeah
weird.
is it pre Alan Moore the first one?
Yeah, it's pretty
Uh,
more.
No, it's.
So,
I didn't think it was because
Well,
Moore
it's-
was.
well,
Got me wrong. At the same time, it's 82 or
80,
83.
so they wouldn't have known about whatever he was doing. Like they wouldn't have had access to that, I would assume. So it was around the same time, but they were definitely going off of like the classic
Yeah,
version.
Golden Age, whatever, Bronze
yeah.
Age,
God,
who knows which
fucking
age.
Wes Craven directed the first Swamp Thing.
Yeah,
Yep.
because
1982.
he wanted to do an action adventure, which is here's the thing, like you hear Wes Craven and Swamp Thing, and nothing about that, like the version
Makes-
of that movie in your head sounds amazing.
It's pretty good for
then-
1982.
And then you get an action hero movie monster who spends half the film just throwing people off frame.
yeah, that's
That's
the
his
most of
go-to
it.
move. He grabs someone by the seat of the pants and by their scruff and just kind of barrel tosses them off into the swamp and they're never seen again.
And then it
feel
ends
like
with a sword fight with a stick. 'Cause-
Oh yes. And then he heals Adrian Barbeau with the power of swamp.
yeah.
Well, and we have to thank Swamp Thing for the greatest song to ever exist in the history of time.
Swamp Thing.
Swamp
Bow,
Thing.
bow, bow, bow.
Okay, yeah. Swamp Thing 1, it definitely came out much further back than the Alan Moore run because the Alan Moore run started in '87.
It came out in 82.
Yeah.
It's just
I
weird
just-
what Hollywood would do for a comic movie before like even fucking like the late 90s.
Yeah.
When was
Well, Superman was a big hit, but
Yeah.
yeah, with the TV show, I'm wondering though if they're going to base it all on the Snyder run of Swamp Thing.
I
Also,
wouldn't be
how
surprised if
much
they did,
screen
so.
time will Swamp Thing get as he's a big giant effects
That's-
budget? So.
Yeah, I mean, I said it just like last week or the week before. I don't think he'll be Swamp Thing the entire time. He'll either turn back into Alec or he'll be a hallucination most of the time.
So this show is gonna be the Incredible Hulk.
yes.
No, I'm thinking more like Hannibal.
Yeah.
So,
See, my problem
that'd
is-
be interesting.
I love Swamp Thing, and to me, the most interesting parts or the two different stories that are the most interesting are the Alan Moore when it's like you find out that he's not actually Alec Holland,
Right.
that he's like the worms ate him, and then the Snyder run where it's like, oh, yeah, that Swamp Thing did exist, but now we have the actual Alec Holland as Swamp Thing.
Yeah.
But like in all of them, you still have to have like a dude who's a walking, like I don't know, moss running around.
He's sentient nature, basically. is what
Yes,
Yeah,
and
I
he's
think,
everything.
I think
he's
he has
immortal.
the same problem as Hulk, which is, I think Hulk has one of the most uninteresting origin stories to ever be told. Like, you have to get past the entirety of him turning into the Hulk, and then him getting captured, or, you know, the U.S. Army trying to capture him. You have to get past all that stuff that is frankly boring before he becomes interesting.
I think the Hulk is kind of, to go like to movies, Hulk is more like the what do you call it, the like a werewolf, like, so you have that idea of like you know, like it's kind of like this alter ego. It's like, because what do you call it, the original werewolf movie is kind of talking about alcoholism, and Swamp Thing is kind of this whole
no, so
like,
that's not what I was saying. So what I mean is, like, the most interesting thing about Hulk to me is when Hulk fights monsters.
Yeah.
See, I think I'm
What about puppers?
Wait, what?
What about puppers? Thor
What?
Ragnarok.
Okay.
see, to me, the most interesting thing about those two characters is the man dealing with the monster that he is.
I agree with all of that. I just don't like when they have to fight humans. I don't like
See,
when
no,
the villain is
yeah,
a bat.
the
is a
human,
human
no,
dude.
that's exactly. The humans
that's
are
what I'm
like.
saying.
Well, that's
Like,
because
fight
with
humans,
Swamp Thing,
it's
his
like,
biggest enemy is
killed him
Arcane.
immediately.
Right,
Like-
Arcane turns into like a zombie guy or whatever. Like, I'm most interested when there's an antagonist who's another monster, who's a creature.
Well,
But that's
in the Snyder thing. He's not a human. He's the avatar of the Gray,
right. Yeah, that's what
which
I'm
is
getting at.
much better. Yeah.
I like monsters. I like monsters fighting other monsters. I'm not interested in Hulk running away from Thunderbolt Ross,
Yeah.
or Swamp Thing
Hulk
fighting
tanks.
yeah, or fighting a company that wants to burn down the forest. Like that's
And that's
uninteresting.
why
Yeah.
the Hulk Abomination fight is the best part of that movie.
Yeah.
yeah.
With Swamp Thing, there's like 3 villains that he should come up against, and that is Arcane as like the kind of overarching the entire series villain.
Yes.
And
He
then
reverse
have
Flash if he says that.
I was gonna say Woodrow. I can't remember what his first name is,
Yeah,
but in the Snyder run, he
Cedar.
was like the Cedar, but
Yes.
he's been in a bunch of stuff.
Yeah. He was
And
in
then
a
I
great
don't-
Starman run.
Yeah, and then I don't know if they have the rights, but Poison Ivy would be an interesting other character.
Yeah.
Actually,
No.
I was going to say Solomon Grundy.
Yeah.
Solomon
and
Grundy as
Shipka
well.
also.
Well, he has connections to the Gray and the Green, in when they
Yeah.
did like the.
Well,
Earth 2. Earth 2
That's-
is the avatar.
That's something else I think we need to let go of is I don't think any DC show is ever going to deal with the gray or the green or the red or any of that.
Not in any detail. Like.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's kind of hard to tell properly.
I
Yeah.
do want to see Solomon Grundy in the Swamp Thing show because I really need someone to wipe that Gotham version off the face of the earth.
Wait,
Oh, you mean-
he appeared in 5 seconds of an Arrow episode in like season 2.
Yeah, he's actually very well used in that Arrow episode. You should just think of that,
Well, that-
Connor.
Yeah, that was all, and that was more Cyrus Gold than anything else.
Well, he got all souped up.
He was.
He was
He-
proto.
He was Solomon Grundy without looking like a horrible
Yeah,
monster.
he was.
They
He was. He was the pre-Flash. Arrow is super serious and as realistic as possible. Solomon Grundy.
It's the Dark Knight tone where it's like this
Right.
could happen, but probably not.
No, he was what they turned that character into was Dusty Goldson's character, Stardust or whatever, his character on Arrow.
Mm-hmm.
he's literally the exact same character.
Yeah.
Where he doesn't feel pain, and he's just like a walking.
Right.
He's Bane from Batman Forever.
They're still holding on to the idea that everything's plausible, though. They're still under the impression that everything could happen, you know, in quotes.
We'll share.
Yeah.
This whole thing just makes me sad that Badland Ween and Bernie Wrightson.
Alan, you say this kind of stuff all the time, and it's like, okay, what do you expect us to say to that?
How do you know who those people are?
What response do you want from us? Okay, I too don't like.
I'm hoping
Bernie
someone
Wrightson
like
stuff.
Eric, who has read
Alan,
hopefully something by them.
Alan, okay.
I know who they are, but Alan, in the grander scheme of this show, it doesn't really affect the potential listeners.
I am sad because Bernie Wrightson is a very good artist, and I love.
Yeah.
If you just look up Bernie Wrightson art, that's great. But it's like, what point does that make to the conversation at hand?
They're historic people.
It's tangential, but it doesn't really matter. Do you get what I'm saying, bud?
Yeah.
Doesn't necessarily have anything to do with what we're talking about.
Man, I miss making fun of Chris.
I know. If you offhand
Chris
This is what's happened to me in the time he's gone.
I think we all miss you making fun of Chris.
Well, I have to say is this is the first podcast me and Alan have done, so I'm going to pitch Alan. Would you want to do like a 5-minute small zone podcast with me? We talk about episodes 5 minutes. We'll go through the entire series.
Just rip off Laser Time's Talking Simpson and just do Talking Smallville and just cover every episode from start to finish.
I have seen every episode of the show.
I am stuck. Like, I'm literally in quicksand on season 8.
God damn it.
I don't even remember what seasons are which.
Season 8 was
There's
I forgot.
one TV show that I will go back to and watch.
Oh, Doomsday.
In its entirety, and it's Scrubs. I just can't. I don't know anyone else who has this kind of affection and.
I was in the wheelhouse
with
of
Smallville.
it. But what's funny is if you watch this show, there are so many actors and actresses that show up in everything else. Like if you ever watched Psych, I can't remember the lead actress, like the female cop. She's a throwaway villain in season 1 of Smallville.
This is true.
I mean, when your show is on for 10 years, Supernatural,
Yeah.
you're gonna get a lot of
16
people.
with that
And I
one.
know when they recast Supergirl's mom, Lara Zor-El,
Yeah.
that was Lois Lane in
Yeah.
Smallville.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I also wouldn't be surprised if people were running away from Smallville like a house on fire because they were trying to be recruited for Nexium.
The only one that was funny was the girl that played Lana, and it's not like she's had a great career after like the Chung Lee movie, and then she did a shitty CW Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah, we talked about that.
At least Tom Welling, like he was on this past season of Lucifer, and he was very interesting on it.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways, I hope James Wan actually has an effect on this because.
And I hope it's horror.
Yeah. Well, for those who don't know, James Wan also did MacGyver. He was a producer on that. And
Oh my God!
Oh my God!
The show that never was.
I saw one episode, and I think I was in the dentist office.
Did you know there was a MacGyver reboot?
Yeah.
No, it's not a reboot.
Also,
it's a prequel.
Did you ever see it?
It's a prequel.
No.
I tried
that's
watching
'cause
the first
I
episode.
wouldn't touch that.
It was like sucked from existence like the moment I heard about it being on TV for a hot second.
Also, and this is the impressive thing, James Wan reshot the pilot for that show. So that means the
This gives
version
me
of the
such awesome hope for Aquaman.
Okay, TV is different from television, so it's not necessarily one for one.
Also, he could have it wasn't his baby to begin with, so he probably had to come in and like deal with what was just a rotten fucking script.
Mm-hmm. But it's like, so wait, there was an original pilot that you shot that was worse than the crap that I just sat through. And I only watched like the first 12 minutes of the pilot, and it was bad.
I don't understand how you can make that a bad remake. Because, like, you have a guy, he's in a situation, he takes bubblegum, a paperclip, and a rubber band, and and blows up some shit.
It's always a paperclip. No one ever says anything else. He's like, yeah, man, he can make a C4 of a paperclip.
Yeah, it's always a paperclip and a rubber band. Because if you need
it's
electricity and you need to connect 2 points, you always need metal.
He's like fucking Pickle Rick from that episode of Rick and Morty, where he just fucking
that's exactly what he is.
Stationary supplies to make weapons of death.
All right. Do we want to keep on going, or do we want to? Because we only have one more story left.
I think we're gonna actually chew on this last story for a bit. So.
Okay. I'll move on to the next one. Hasbro bought Power Rangers. So.
Woo! Okay.
Goodbye,
Okay.
Cyban.
Great.
Yeah.
So I imagine like the fucking everything I've heard about Saban is terrible. The man, not the company.
Yeah. He's friends with Ike. I'm guessing he is. I don't know if he is, but I'm just guessing because
Most likely.
he's an Israeli businessman who worked in the toy industry. So
And I
maybe
have
they're
to think that
enemies.
I have to think that he was like, fucking go on, take it. I don't care anymore. Like it's just I feel like Power Rangers is not a brand that's been treated with a lot of love in the past decade.
Like,
Unless you read the comic books, the comic book has been actually very good.
A comic book by IDW, Allan.
Yeah, that second-rate company.
so, the one thing I will say about this is, I don't think it's really going to affect much,
Same.
other than
Except
Yeah.
that movie that's never getting a sequel now.
No, I think
yeah,
it's more likely to get a sequel.
Yeah, now it's
I
really-
do.
Actually, no.
I
The
think-
current talk is that is they're abandoning this movie and starting over.
I think that this is bringing us closer to a giant crossover Hasbro verse
Yeah.
with Power Rangers, Transformers, G.I.
Okay.
Joe.
everything about that sentence is awesome.
That's some clunky shit.
What is that? They
Okay,
own like
so-
another one that's like Cars. I can't remember what it's called. Mask.
Mask.
Yeah, which is just
And, like Ron, do they own Ron the Space Knight or something?
Yeah, we talked about that too.
So that's a lot of my problem with this Hasbro verse is like a lot of their stuff is derivative. like if you
So, like,
pitched the Mask
Cobra is
characters
not-
to me.
Cobra and Hydra aren't the same thing.
Right. Well, no, that's not even what I'm talking about. Mask and G.I. Joe. If I tell
Oh,
you
they're the same shit.
No,
they're the same thing.
Mask
And
is
there's-
G.I. Joe with a little bit of Transformers sprinkled on it.
Right.
You might as well just make Mask a part of G.I. Joe if you're gonna do a movie universe. Like, oh yeah, it's a small
Yeah.
team.
And then
Actually, they,
Necronauts and Transformers also like. So yeah.
If I remember correctly, because the world of G.I. Joe toys is fascinating to me sometimes, they actually had a Matt Tracker action figure come out in the G.I. Joe line, like
Wow.
the regular size scale with his little mask that could do whatever. He didn't have a transforming vehicle, unfortunately, because those toys were actually kind of rad. Because, yes, I'm old enough to be alive when that cartoon was on and I had some of the Mask toys.
Of course.
Well, I had those Power Rangers toys where you flip the belt down and their head swapped with their helmeted version.
Well,
I
no,
also
like
had those.
the toys were actually kind of rad. Like you had a motorcycle that transformed into a helicopter of sorts, and it was actually a kind of ingenious transformation too.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. There's very forgivable cynicism to be felt about a big giant toy company just assembling all of these properties just so they can like possibly assault you with them down the line.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, as long as it stars The Rock.
I mean, yeah, totally. So here's the thing. I think that they will incorporate the Power Rangers movie because I don't know anybody who actually saw that movie who didn't like it, at the least. Like, if that movie was hated, I could see them just scrapping it, but I definitely can see them saying, let's take the parts of this that people liked, which is universally the cast of that movie.
Well, the thing is,
and
of all the
comics.
things they own, Power Rangers has like the best nostalgia for who they want to have as an audience. 'Cause that's me. That's
That's definitely me.
yeah,
I still watch Power Rangers to this day.
yeah. Like
Like-
G.I. Joe and all those other things.
I still haven't seen that movie because it just flat out doesn't interest me.
I haven't seen
Yeah.
the new movie, but I mean, like
That's
in
fine.
general, the idea of the Power Rangers, like we grew up on that, as opposed to G.I. Joe.
No, I and you two were definitely alive during the fucking groundswell
Yes.
of momentum this silly little show had when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Fucking if you didn't have a Power Rangers toy, you were dirt.
No. Yeah, we're the same age. I
I
had
remember.
all this.
It was
I
a
had,
fucking status symbol when you're a
Yeah.
first grader.
I had all the Zords except the Dragon Zord, and it pissed me off.
Yeah,
But I did have the dagger, which you could actually blow into and play.
Damn.
And I
That
had
is so dumb. I love that.
I had the tiger sword that talked from the movie. You know, that movie that starred Apocalypse.
Oh
God
my
damn
god.
you.
You know what? That's a movie that is aged like milk.
So here's the thing on that.
I
think Power
Barrel
Rangers
aged.
have more interesting villains than
Oh,
any of
if
these
you haven't
other
read the-
franchises.
If you have not read the comic book, they created an amazing villain in that comic book. That
Is it the one that's been floating around that I can't say anything without spoiling it? Is anybody here going to actually read the comic other than
No.
Lou?
I might get around to it.
Please don't
I don't-
spoil it.
I'll just
Okay.
the name of the character because I don't think that will reveal anything. Do you think so?
I don't think so.
Draken, is that who you're talking about?
Yeah, that's who I'm talking about.
Yeah,
Yep.
Draken
Yep.
is awesome, and when they give the backstory, it's like, ooh,
Yeah.
he's badass.
Yeah.
Shit. I had a thought and I lost it.
And I think they did in that comic book. They do a better job of any of the things to explain, like, oh, what the Power Rangers are, how everything works, where their powers come from, and what that all means in the general thing.
Oh, villains. Well, I mean, of course, Power Ranger has the most interesting villains. One of them is named Pudgy Pig, and he just eats shit.
Yeah.
One of them is a purse, isn't it? One of them is a lipstick.
Yeah. Yeah.
Those are like the throwaway things. It's Rita.
Yeah.
Well, there's a villain who's a lava man, which
There's
is
a
Well,
skeleton with
I love that.
arrow.
I love that Lord Zed is basically just skinless, and he has this
Yeah.
metal.
Yeah.
there's a
This
dragon
metal-
army. There's a robo army, or
But
not?
there's-
There's a robot army at some point. Yeah.
There's also a monster that was voiced by Bryan Cranston, if I remember
You mean all
correctly.
that?
Yes, true. This is accurate.
Yeah.
But yeah, like there's a lot of interesting designs in there compared to like and here's the thing, Lou's thing about like Cobra being Hydra is accurate. And if you haven't watched the documentary The Toys That Made Us,
Oh my god, it's the
Uh.
first boss in the Power Rangers game.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh wait, was that in the
real
Sega
quick-
Genesis?
No, Super Nintendo. That is how you grab me with Power Rangers nostalgia, because I have played that game so many fucking times. I love that game. That is an excellent little old brawler.
Fun.
The just Power Rangers for SNES.
Yeah, it's a good game.
Yeah, because there was a fighting game too that was also
Fun.
for
That
the
game's
SNES.
awesome, too.
Oh, the
Yeah.
Zord fighting game.
Yeah.
I think I played that one with the Zords, but I think you played as the Power Rangers. Then you beat something just like the show. You'd have to fight them in the Zord form.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was that one. But
Yeah,
there
you
was
start-
a separate fighting game
Yeah.
that was, yeah.
it's like an Ultraman fighting game.
hmm
Which I also had too. But yeah, the Power Rangers game, you started as the teenage version of yourself, and then like halfway through the level, you switch into your Power Ranger form. You get a little buff. All the sprites are the same. So Trini and Kimberly are the size of Jason.
Okay, Lou, I just want to know one thing.
You talking me? Yes. What's up?
In this comic, are Bulk and Skull in the comic?
Yes.
Okay, I will buy it.
oh, you're gonna
wow,
buy a
that-
comic from an
that-
inferior publisher?
That was the hook.
Yeah, I like
Oh,
Bulk and Skull.
Allan.
They're not even the jump. You have to like wait for them, but they're there.
I thought there was a nice hardcover that collected like the first
Yeah,
12 issues or something.
I kind of want to post a picture in the group chat, but like I feel like it would give it away.
Yeah, don't, because
Hunter-
Hunter said he's reading it.
I wanna read it, yes.
Picture of the skeleton guy.
It's not a skeleton guy.
Wow, Hunter, that was fast.
Wait, what? What?
Yeah,
No, I don't
it's
know.
a-
Well,
There's a skeleton man with a red hat, or not a
Fucking
red
rich
hat.
hat.
I don't know what you're talking
Green
about.
hat with a red thing around the thing.
No,
Hey,
there's fucking the Grim
Guys.
Reaper's wearing the Sorting Hat. All right, what the hell's happening in the chat?
Harry.
No.
Harry Potter!
But
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't have feelings about this Power Rangers thing. I thought
Yeah.
the movie was fine. Like it was fine.
I really feel like Power Rangers is a property that has only ever clung to life ever since it peaked, and it's like carried in the hopes and dreams of like the kids who watched it and are now adults, and
Yeah.
maybe the kids who are now watching it and forgetting about it on whatever fucking channel it's on now, Nickelodeon, Disney, I don't even
Disney
know.
Channel.
Yeah. I don't really know though. Like I
Just-
don't know. Yeah. It's like,
I,
eh.
and who It's probably up to Power Rangers Galactic, like Sand Raiders at this point.
It's like Ninja Strike or something like that. The current one.
Wow, and that's the thing. They reuse concepts after a certain point.
Yeah.
Well, the only
Like-
constant in the shows is Jason David Frank has appeared like in almost every version of it.
Except for Ninja Storm, I believe. Unless I'm mistaken, and he did show
And
up.
for someone who's supposed to be like a retired Power Ranger, he sure as shit gets some kind of new power set and suit like every time they bring him back for something.
Well, because he created, and here's the thing, I actually saw all of Dino Thunder for some reason. I don't know why.
What a ridiculous sentence.
Fair enough.
That should be the name of this episode.
Yeah, I saw all of Dino Thunder, but that's the first one where he returned, and he's the creator of the Power Rangers in that version. And he's like their weird like teacher or whatever, kind of like that new Cobra Kai show,
The sensei.
but sadder somehow.
But the thing is, like, he actually can fight in real life.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did MMA stuff.
Yeah,
he wants to fight CM Punk. in
Yes,
a
that's what I was
battle
gonna bring up.
who's less famous.
Well, CM Punk has an actual fight against some other guy who has like.
and
one fight.
who is ready to see that guy lose again? Because I
Oh
don't
well,
think-
if
One
you
of
ever
which
watched the
fights
first
Tonya
fight,
Harding, so that's a.
well, no, if you ever watched the first fight, it doesn't take long. It's about 15 seconds. He gets beat by this 22-year-old kid from Jersey.
I did
I
see
know
that,
the
actually.
Mickey Golf fight. Here's
Yes.
the thing. I like CM Punk. I think CM Punk is one of the most talented wrestlers on the planet and understands that business in and out. I think in that regard, he's a genius. And then when it comes to MMA,
He's a guy.
grossly outclassed by fucking everybody because he's never done this before and he got thrown into the UFC in his first fight.
Yeah, well,
What?
that's his. If we want to go into this, it was his choice. They offered to put him into their like kind of reality show, like kind of training thing.
Ultimate Fighter, yeah.
Yes, and he turned them down. He said no. He was above that.
And-
His ego was.
And that's the problem with CM Punk is that until CM Punk fails, he thinks he's the best at everything.
He has a fight coming up real soon. I'm trying to look up. The guy he's fighting has like a trash record.
And
Oh,
this all ties back to us because CM Punk has written for Marvel, I believe.
Yeah, he wrote a Drax story, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
They
He is
also
fighting-
wrote a Thor story.
Oh, God.
He's fighting next month, June 9th. He's fighting Mike Jackson, who I've never heard of, and I'm a big UFC fan. Let
What's
me
the
look
name of
up
it again?
the comic book. I don't know what we're talking about.
I have no
Neither
idea.
do I.
All right, I think we're.
I think we're done.
I think we need to stop.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. I did not. Wow. I'm looking at the time. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's almost 12:30 here.
No, I'm talking about the
Yeah.
time of this recording, Alan.
Recording Allan.
I'm lost at this point.
Okay.
I'm floating out in the space. I'm floating out.
I think that's just you. That's just you at all times.
I'm lost in the speed. I don't know where I'm confused.
I'm confused. He's like that.
I want to, you know what? I want this personality to be applied to Barry Allen now. Like I go fast, but I don't really know how to. I'm dumb.
So the beginning of the season. Okay.
Yeah.
I think we're good. That's plugs, everybody. I guess.
Hi, I'm Connor McGraw. Movie Dumpster should be back recording next week. We're still doing Frankenstein's Army unless something changes. If you haven't seen Frankenstein's Army, please watch it. It's like Doom and Silent Hill and Wolfenstein had a baby.
Arlen Haro, every week, Los Haro podcast. The episode that came up today is the action movies episode. I know I've been plugging that for weeks, but that's the one that came up. We talked Fury Road, Terminator 2, and I believe Hot Fuzz, so go listen to that. Yeah, that comes out every week. Haro at all the places. I'm going to be starting up my other Instagram that's been dormant. Do some weird art stuff there, maybe. I don't know. Check it out.
You gonna do some Lydia Lunch type stuff?
Yeah, maybe.
You can
Anybody
go, Eric.
else? All right, I'll go. I figured I'd let Allan go because he has something to promote.
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter. By the time this goes up, I'm changing my fucking Twitter users.
God fucking damn it.
Here it goes.
I'm changing it back to the Allan mirror because I have a feeling someone's going to try to take that. And coming soon, the return of Video Game Hour. A one-off.
Wait, what?
Yeah. Me, Hunter, and a special guest.
I am intrigued.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cars, like, when was I not?
No, here's the thing. Here's the thing. I was secretly waiting for Alan to go Connor and me to go Hawa.
No.
No, it's a good special guest.
Yeah.
Good.
Someone we were trying to get on for a while.
Yeah.
Was that your plug, Al?
Yeah, that was my plug.
All right. I'm Eric Fedorchak. You can find me on Eric_Fedor on Instagram, dogs, food, comics, stuff. Also floating around the Phantom Zone like normal. I will try and advise you on comics if you ask. And I've been giving it a lot of thought recently, and I'd really like to see old Pennywise and new Pennywise. I'd like to see them meet in an alley and embrace like lovers.
Two fucking horrible storms are meeting in the middle right now.
So, okay, I've been Hunter Davenport. Don't follow me anywhere.
Hunter is just gonna start ending podcasts with "Get off my lawn."
Yeah, go fucking Go check out the Secret Sessions episode I did. It's a podcast that my friend Ari and Daniel do, and it got real deep. It did. So check that out.
Do people anonymously submit you guys stories or something, or
They anonymously submit secrets, and we talk about them.
Oh.
Like advice.
I may submit one or two. I don't know.
Yeah. It's a good show. You should go check it out.
Anyway, Lou?
I'm Lou Gonzalez. I'm on the Phantom Zone all the time. My Twitter is Lou A. Gonzalez. I think that's the same for Instagram. If you follow me on Twitter, you just see pictures of beer and my dog sleeping in random positions.
Nice.
Maybe me and Allan can do a Smallville cast. I'm serious. Like, Allan, you want to do this? I'm down. I will rewatch the show. At the end of every episode, we'll do like a 5 minutes of like episode with a specific episode.
I will only tolerate this if you go in chronological order.
Yes, no, we have to watch it from episode 1.
Well, wait, is the whole series still on Hulu?
Yes, it is.
I have no idea.
It is.
Oh, then let's do this.
All right. Well,
You heard it here, people.
It's
gonna happen.
I will actually plug this little gag.
the small zone minute. It'll be like the microverse of the Phantom Zone.
Wow. Okay, well, if you guys actually do it and one of you edits it, because I'm not editing that shit, I will put it up on our feed.
I mean, here's the thing: if it's gonna take any of us to edit 5 minutes, so
I can do it. Like, if we want to, Allan, just message me and we can figure out a time. I can do
we're having a hell of an off-show
this is
discussion.
actually
right
happening right now.
now. All right, well, that's the show that ends with a pitch. This is the second After Dark becoming a backdoor pilot.
Yeah, our first mini-sode series. Well, other than Video Game Minute, RIP. So yeah, this is the Phantom Zone. Bye.
Yeah.
Bye. Fuck X-Men Apocalypse. No, Eric, don't you dare. I will not tolerate this.
I want to come in now.
Adios.
I want to come back inside. Bye.